Champions, thanks so much for joining us. We're looking ahead to this big matchup, the final match of the season, the grand finale.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. It was the same teams that battled for the title last year. There was no result in normal time. They went extra time, still no goals, and they had to go to penalties. The tendency of matches between these two teams remaining similar in the 2018-2019 season, because they've met 3 times and we've had 3 drawn results. So it's pretty clear that these two teams are evenly matched, and we are expecting, George, a big one tonight.
Absolutely. So these two teams advertised their well-being early in the campaign, suggesting that they will be among the teams deciding this Premier League season 2018-19. They've played well, both extremely well coached. The players have exhibited very good discipline on the field, and I think both teams are getting what they deserve, a chance of lifting the Premier League title. Both go into the game with a 50% chance of winning it, I think.
As we take a look at the road to the final, it's been a pretty straightforward one for Portmore United, based on the fact that they won the league and they didn't have to take part in the playoffs. And the same can be said for Waterhouse, but let's take a look at what took place in the semis, with Portmore defeating Mount Pleasant 2-1 in the first leg, then drawing with Mount Pleasant 1-1 in the second leg. Waterhouse had it pretty easy in that first leg, beating Cavalier 2-0 and then completing the 3-0 aggregate win.
Gentlemen, I'm keen to look at the starting lineups for both teams last year in the final, because I want to see how both teams would have changed in the intervening 12 months. One suspects that you'll see more familiar faces in the Waterhouse lineup than you'll see in the Portmore lineup, because it's almost a case of revolving doors at Portmore, given the quality at their disposal. Let's see that graphic now.
Waterhouse did lose a couple of their players, didn't
yep.
they? A couple of them actually went to Mount Pleasant Football Academy. So you will see a couple of changes in terms of quality. The expectations weren't that high at the start of the season, which is why I said a little bit earlier that I was a little bit surprised by the fact that they actually made it to this final, because a lot of persons thought, okay, they're going to be starting basically from scratch.
Well, I think what it says, and not because he's standing close to me, the job that Duki and his team did with Waterhouse last year, they left a very good team. That's a fact. They left a strong starting team. They left strong players in reserve, because the players that came in to replace Beckford and Ben weren't players bought. They were players already a part of the setup. So you have to credit the quality of the squad that was left by the team that departed to take charge at Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, well, there's a Portmore starting roster that played last year, and they have 4 players in that 11 that will be starting tonight. Those 4 players are Javon East, Ricardo Morris, there's also Osani Ricketts and Roberto Johnson. Only 4 players from the starting lineup for Portmore in last year's final on the starting roster tonight. As Donald mentioned, and you concurred, George, significantly more for Waterhouse tonight. And Waterhouse will actually have 8 players that started in last year's final starting tonight, with Ben Bow and Beckford gone to Mount Pleasant and Carlos Barrett not there at the moment. But outside of those 3, this is the starting lineup that Waterhouse had last year for the final.
Well, I must confess, gentlemen, Carlos Barrett, for me, was Donovan Duki's MVP for Waterhouse last year. He played so very well. I didn't think that Keith Simpson would have settled into the role, but I think Keith Simpson has grown from strength to strength. He's patrolled that midfield for Waterhouse like a colossus over the course of the season, and he's a main part of the reason why Waterhouse have been so formidable this season. But a lot of familiar faces in that 11, and again I make the point, Waterhouse have excelled under Marcel Gale, because Marcel Gale inherited a strong team.
Well, what took place in the semi-finals? How did Portmore and Waterhouse get through? Here's a reminder.
We're at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. This is Red Stripe Premier League football. It's the second leg semi-final between Portmore United and Mount Pleasant Academy. Portmore, 6-time champions of the Premier League. No team in the history of local football in Jamaica has won the Premier League as many times as they have. This is an opportunity for Portmore to get their 4th consecutive place in a final. Rousseau. Good pass to East. 2 against 1 at the moment. East. Rousseau back to East. 1-2 combination from the 2 men.
But Benbow gives the ball away to Rousseau. A nice little pass. Runs into the space. Only one option Jovan East has. Uses it. And look at Rousseau waiting until the last minute to pass the ball across the face of goal to him. Vargas left exposed despite men being back to help him on the defense.
Beckford. Still Beckford. Oh, great pass here to Swaby. Brilliant save by Paul.
Oh, here he goes around Johnson. Fakes to go one way. Look at the pass. And look at Shavin Sean Paul off his line in a flash. He read the situation very quickly.
Virgo with a cross. Players in the box waiting. Header. Brilliant goal. Makala.
Xavier Virgo, what did I say? He is the danger man, kept at home, sedated by Portmore's defensive work in the first half. Attacking work really, keeping him at home, defending. But since the second half, Mount Pleasant have got desperate. He's gotten up that right-hand side time and time again. And he finds the cross, finds Sule Makala, unmarked. Portmore United's defenders caught napping.
Man of the match call for tonight. These Portmore men. Goalkeeper Paul had a solid night. Made some brilliant saves as well. East with a finish that sort of almost put the game outside of Mount Pleasant's hopes. And disappointment for Mount Pleasant. Disappointment for Donovan Ducky. Now the skies here at the National Stadium in Kingston. Waterhouse leading this tie by 2-0 courtesy of their first leg victory last week, Monday night. Cavalier coming in here with a mountain to climb. McFarlane holds the ball well, drives a shot. Oh, what a brilliant play and an outstanding save from Edwards as well. Andre McFarlane, absolutely sublime with the first touch, the turn, then the strike.
This man is so good. Look at this strike. Oh, lovely. Oh, Fox is the defender.
Howell. Daly. Now with a right-footed strike. Oh, what a brilliant strike from Kimar Dada Daly. Second goal of the season for the 31-year-old. And Waterhouse are putting a dagger into the side of Cavalier.
Steaming for, but you always knew he didn't have the pace to run by the defenders. Love the ball.
Hamilton onto the crossbar and slides across.
Cavalier streaming for. This is Marshall releasing Hamilton. Looks across. I think he was going for the cross and it was mishit, but cannoned off the crossbar. And to Diego Horton's good fortune, away from danger.
And that's it, the end of the game. 1-0 for Waterhouse tonight, 3-0 on aggregate. So for the second time in a row, Waterhouse will play in the Red Stripe Premier League final.
So we're back here at the National Stadium. That's a live shot. And that's Waterhouse supporters in the bleachers, eagerly anticipating the start of this Red Stripe Premier League final. And we're on set. And we are joined by the assistant brand manager at Red Stripe, Nasha Douglas. Welcome to our set. Let's talk a little bit about the season. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's great as usual. I mean, listen, it's 9 long months. And we often say we wish it was a little shorter, but this season was one that was quite exciting.
As we look ahead to this final, what were the plans put in place to make this final special?
As you know, a lot of people come together to make this happen. So between you guys, all the other broadcasters, the PLC, it was just really making sure that we still made things affordable, making sure the entry to the gate was affordable, making sure that when you come here, you enjoy our product at an affordable price. So nothing was raised from last year, you know, in order to ensure that people got to come here and just enjoy themselves.
You obviously would have gotten quite a bit of traction from Monday Night Football. How was that this season in meeting your expectations?
I mean, it never fails. It's something that we've been building for the last, I believe, 7 years, even before my time. And it will continue after me. So it's something that's great because what it does is then brings football into your homes for another night. So hopefully next season we're in another night. Maybe it's Wednesday night, maybe it's Thursday night. But we need to be able to bring the product to more homes and more days of the week.
Of course, the players would be the main stakeholders in the Red Stripe Premier League. What has that relationship been like, and how has that been improving since the inception of Red Stripe sponsorship?
And to be honest, I think that is probably an area that we went back on a little bit this year, and I think just the ginormity of all the things that we were doing. What we normally do is that we have a player development program, which we're not able to do this year. And what that would create is an opportunity for us to do it much better next season, where we can bring in more stakeholders from across the world to do a lot more, you know, player coach type training sessions. But you know, I'm very big proponent that the players have to want it.
Any nuggets for next season?
You know, I want to see more new teams in this mix. I want to say I like the energy of the new teams. I like when they come in and kind of do their thing. And so.
You mean Mount Pleasant?
I'm not going to say that I'm a Mount Pleasant fan, but I am. I am. I like how they do I like them vibe. And there's another one that I'm hoping that will, you know, open up the doors next season.
All right, thank you very much, Assistant Brand Manager of Red Stripe, Nasha Douglas, for joining us here on set. As far as the brand manager is concerned, Rashima Kelly, she had a meet and greet with the finalists. Let's take a look.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Rashima Kelly and I'm the Assistant Brand Manager for Red Stripe. So most of you would have known me from the field. I come out and I do greeting. But today I just wanted to come out and speak to you because you are the champions. Yeah? You don't sound like you're the champion. You are the existing champion? Okay, that sounds better. Today I just want to wish you all the best. You're at training now. This is the home stretch of possibly being the 2018-2019 champion. So I wanted to wish you the best. Continue to train hard. Dream, believe, and achieve. Continue to train hard. Drink responsibly. I brought Malta for you today primarily because that is what you need. You need energy today. But you'll get Red Stripe on Monday after you win the championship. Yeah? Sound like a deal? Yeah? And who's going to be the man of the match on Monday? Yeah? Alright, sound like we need to walk with more than one man of the match basket? Sound like a plan. But continue to do your best. You're champions in your own right. Red Stripe is here to support local football and will continue to stand up for Jamaican sports and stand up for everything that is local and important to us. So do your best and all the best because you're champions. Yeah? All the best. Alright, afternoon everyone. I'm Rashima Kelly and I'm the Assistant Brand Manager for Red Stripe. Just here today to encourage you to give you all the support that you need in preparation for finals on Monday. You've come a far way. We're pretty much on the home stretch now. Want to wish you all the best. I know you're bringing all of the heat and all of the fire. This is your second time around in a consecutive year. So wishing you all the best. Continue to dream, believe, and you definitely will achieve. 2018-2019, I can safely say was a good year. I don't think you guys had any injury, and I wish you an injury-free game on Monday. Continue to stand up for sports that bring us together and stand up for your stripe. And all the best on Monday, April 29. You're welcome. So we're here at the Waterhouse team just before the final on Monday, April 29. Definitely come to give them the encouragement and the strength. They're going to come out and they're going to have a good final preparation. But Monday is where they're going to bring the fire. And finally, we're just going to say, Red Stripe, stand up for your stripe.
The crowd is building all the time, especially over the bleacher side. A lot of Waterhouse supporters in place as we are minutes away from kickoff here, the grand finale of the Red Stripe Premier League. I'm with Donovan Ducky, head coach of Mount Pleasant. A little bit disappointing, the third place playoff, but quickly, your thoughts on your season so far?
Well, thanks for having me here. It was a wonderful journey. As I just said to my good friend, I am back where I started. Last year I was right here against Portmore. Immediately after I was with Mount Pleasant to help them to qualify. There was a certain amount of players that matriculated to the Premier League. We brought in 17 players. I thought it was a good season. We did pretty well. It's unprecedented history for any new team to have acquired this feat. We have been doing well. We end well. We didn't win the third place playoff, but we have laid a solid platform for us to take that into next season.
We're going to need to use your analytical mind in just a second as we take a look at the head-to-head between Portmore United and Waterhouse. Coach Donovan Ducky would be pretty much used to playing a Portmore United team, but as well, we're waiting on the graphic to come up. Well, here it is. As far as this season is concerned, of course, 0-0, then 1-1 before that, and then previously 2-2, and of course 2018 would have been last year's final. 0-0 was the score after 90 minutes before Portmore United came out on top on penalties. Donovan Ducky was the head coach of Portmore United back then, and as we take a look at the match lines as to what Portmore United need to do to be on top, they need to dominate possession, and they've been doing that all season, Coach Ducky.
If you look at the score lines from last year till now, it's pretty much basically the same results. They're all drawn game, and it's organization versus organization. It's two good defensive team, and set piece will be key tonight, I think.
How important it is for Portmore United to actually score early in this contest?
Well, what I can tell you is that Portmore United will score, and if Waterhouse is to win this game, I think they'll have to score twice.
All right, well, let's stand by now for Shavar Thomas, the head coach of Portmore United, speaking with George Davis.
Thank you very much, Donald. So I'm here with Shavar Thomas. Shavar, this is it. This is what this season has been all about, the championship game. How prepared is your team for this assignment?
We're very prepared. We've been preparing from the beginning of the season, the end of the season, because our vision is to always get back here, and we have done it for 4 years, and we want to capitalize on, having a big night and going out on a good note and in winning this.
We've spoken a lot on commentary about how the fact of the stalemate between the teams in the 3 games this season, but I told them that I don't think your players will be worried about that because you haven't beaten Waterhouse, but Waterhouse haven't beaten you either.
Definitely. So there's a lot to play for today, and like I said earlier, my players are ready and rearing to go.
Where do you think this game will be won in terms of your team? If your team is to beat Waterhouse tonight, what will they have to do better than the opponent can defend against?
To win this game, all we have to do is exert control, and once we exert control and give more, we'll be the victors.
Absolutely. So, and again, last question. You made it will be heartbreaking to dominate the regular season and lose it now.
I mean, we have big picture ambitions. So our dreams don't only stop here. We go on the international platform. But we have to take care, we always say to our players, we have to take care, we have to dominate our own competition, which is the RSPL, so for us to get the momentum to take care of the international platform, and it starts here, so we are ready.
Shavar Thomas rating to take care of the bread and butter, the RSPL. Back to you, Donald.
Thank you very much, George. Well, they are the big dogs in town, aren't they, Portmore United? I'm joined now by Andrew Peart, head coach of UEFC, and you would have been pretty used to playing a Waterhouse team. What has impressed you about them in particular?
Well, for one, the experience that they have in the team, it's pretty much most of the players that played in last year's finals or were a part of last year's team. And what has excelled for them is their use of the set pieces. So they have Tremaine Stewart who can score direct from free kicks. Mark Miller delivers good corners and good wide free kicks. So that's one of the things that's really going for Waterhouse. And next thing is their defensive solidity. They rarely gives up goal, and that's one of the key things for their.
We're going to take a look at the match lines now as we take a look at a few of the specifics that Waterhouse they would need to do. But you made a critical point in terms of they have to take care of their set pieces. And obviously they have to be clinical with their chances. Waterhouse, they were clinical last time out against the Cavalier, and we need to see a similar type of game against Portmore United.
Yes, so in the first leg of the game against Cavaliers, that pretty much swung on the 2 set pieces that they got early. I think it was in the first half. They got one from a corner and one from Tremaine Stewart. So once they can go ahead in games, Waterhouse, they're very good in seeing out the game. So yes, taking their chances, but also preventing Portmore from having any sniff at goal.
One of the match lines that we saw there is that they had to keep their emotions in check. Of course, a team that is aggressive in nature, beautiful football when the time comes, Waterhouse.
Yeah, it's just part of winning. It's when you reach these stages, it's not about how pretty your team plays. It's about how you get the job done, getting the result. And with the experience they have, the experienced players as well, and the experienced coach, they know that the result is what matters most.
All right, let's go downstairs to Marcel Gale, the head coach of Waterhouse.
Well, Donald, I'm actually here with Daniel Bent, who hopes not to get bent out of shape by the result tonight. Daniel, Waterhouse have been pining for revenge all season long. You are here right now. Are you ready to reclaim this title after so long without the trophy being paraded at Jerusalem?
Yeah, man, we are very much ready for this trophy. It comes down to 3 words. The first one is hunger. We have to be more hungry than Portmore. The secondly, we have to show a level of experience, because if you look at the lineup, we came out the other day, Tremaine Stewart, Nikolai Fingerson and company. There's a word of experience in the team, and also come down to the other word is execution, decision making. So when we get the opportunity to score and to pass the ball to the right, to make the right passes and to make the right execution, we must execute for us to whip that trophy at the end of 90 minutes.
You know, last year was an outstanding season. Dookie and company did well, but Waterhouse fell just short. Another very strong season this year. You can't fall short 2 years straight, Daniel.
No, man, definitely we're not going to fall short 2 years straight. You know, we did things a bit different. We have the new gaffer at the head of the team, and he changed a lot of things. Also, the players want this. Nikolai said a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, that he has been waiting for 15 years for this trophy, and he's definitely hungry for it. So I know that everybody will put a 200% on the field and he will all on the pitch to claim this trophy tonight.
Absolutely so. All right, Daniel. Well, we wish you all the best. You've had a good season, and you have the chance to cap it with a victory. And your gut is telling you tonight is your night.
Yeah, man, definitely. Because I mean, when you wait so long, the hunger gets so everything that you just want to accomplish what you need to accomplish, and we have to put in the work, because it's not going to come easy. Portmore is a formidable to the team, but we are ready and waiting, and we're ready to go.
The Premier League trophy is a piece of meat, and Waterhouse collectively a pack of ravenously hungry dogs. Back to you, Donald.
Thanks so much, George. Not quite bent out of shape, but I am psyched up for this one. The kickoff coming up next, but before the kickoff, we take a look at some of the top players from both teams. Stay with us. Welcome back to the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. 27 degrees Celsius, the temperature here, and there's a little bit chance of rain. Humidity at 62%, and there is a slight breeze, and it's picking up here as the crowd comes in by the minute. And we are anticipating a grand finale to the Red Stripe Premier League season, and we are anticipating Lance Whitaker to take us through with George Davis.
So the crowd is building up here. A lot of anticipation here among the fans, in particular the Waterhouse fans, because this Jerusalem Firehouse team haven't won the Premier League since 2006. The last 2 times they were into the finals, they were beaten last year on penalties, and 3 seasons ago, 5-2 by Montego Bay United. There's Javon East. He has 12 goals so far this season, and a joint leading scorer in the league with Colorado Murray, and Waterhouse's Tremaine Stewart, a player who scores with both feet, a player who is on form, having scored in both of the semi-final playoffs.
Oh yes, top player at this level, no doubt, Javon East is, and he's going to have a significant role to play if Portmore are to repeat as champions of the Red Stripe Premier League.
Siobhan Sean Tall, he was not in the goal last year in the final. It was Kimar Foster who had kept goal for them, but his form this season has been tremendous. In the playoffs he looked very, very impressive, and Paul will be trying to stop this Waterhouse team from scoring tonight.
Absolutely so. Made some crucial saves in that second leg against Mount Pleasant United. Quick off his line, very agile, and yeah, they're going to need every ounce of his energy and every aspect of his dynamism tonight if they're going to win. That's well, I almost said Senator. He's Mark Golding. He's the Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South, the opposition spokesman on finance, tucking into a pack of peanuts, and he's also the chairman of the Arnott Gardens Football Club.
Trying to figure out who he's cheering for, because he's wearing blue. Waterhouse wears blue and Portmore wears blue as well.
It's a neutral colour.
Minister of Sport.
Yeah, that's the JFF President, Michael Ricketts, and the Sport Minister, Olivia Babsy-Grange there, with some dignitaries. And Chris Samuda, his back is to us. He's the JOA President.
Yeah. So from the Waterhouse team, their leading goal scorer, Tremaine Stewart, 12 goals at the moment. And he is looking 4 goals tonight. Beaten in the final for Portmore a couple of seasons ago against Montego Bay United, beaten in the final last year by Portmore, playing this time for Waterhouse, and he's looking to have a grand night tonight.
The best attacker in this Waterhouse team by far. He has settled down nicely. I think Tremaine Stewart has matured as an individual and as a footballer over the last 2 seasons, and we've seen that bear out in his play. Very creative, very effective. He's been more oftentimes good than he has been bad this season. He's been more times good than he's been bad this season. Kenroy Howell blows hot and cold. A very dangerous dribbler, a very deceptive change of pace from Kenroy Howell. He doesn't score enough for me, although there was a time not so long ago when he was in the line for the Golden Boot. But I think when he gets his chance tonight, Lance, he's going to have to show the best of his talent, which is running at players, committing them, and beating defenders on the dribble.
Yeah, not that far off the Golden Boot award. He's on 9 goals, just 3 behind the leaders at the moment.
Yeah, Theodore Tapper-Whitmore there. We just caught a shot of him. Yeah, there he goes. Theodore Tapper-Whitmore, the Reggae Boys coach and the Reggae Boys hero from 1998. Sitting beside him, the Reggae pastor of former years, Reverend Merrick Al Miller. So the great and the good of football, of religion, of media are here to represent Lance. And yeah, the home of champions in on the mix as well.
The teams are getting ready to take the field. Look at the game faces in the tunnel. Waterhouse getting ready to battle Portmore, the defending champions, up in a couple of minutes.
Mr. One bag of gold medal pan me now. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan up for them a singing and tender. Red stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man shall I forward boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boys go. Every goal winner run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run the marathon boy. The Red stripe Premier League champion boy. Yeah, yeah.
It's the biggest night of Red Stripe Premier League football in Kingston, Jamaica. The 2018-2019 final. Portmore, the defending champions, up against Waterhouse. Portmore, 6-time champions of the Premier League. No team has won as many as they have. If they win tonight, they would extend their record to 7 titles. Waterhouse have been champions twice, but no titles in the past 12 to 13 years, having won last in 2006. These 2 teams have battled 3 times already this season, and no results between them. All of those matches ending in drawn results. But you know what? Portmore will go in with the confidence of the head-to-head, knowing that in the last 13 times they've met, they've had 6 drawn results, 6 Portmore victories, and only 1 Waterhouse victory. So Waterhouse hungry, as you said earlier on, George, like a pack of wolves.
Yeah, you know, and I have to channel my literature here, Lance, because there's a book, I think it was written by C. Everard Palmer, called My Father, Son Johnson. The first line in that book says, I was there when the Bulo fell. I was here when Waterhouse were hammered 5-2, 5-0 I think, 5-2 by Montego Bay United, and I was here last year. We were here when Portmore broke their hearts on penalties. Will Waterhouse return the blow tonight? Will they return the blow this year in this championship game? That's the big question.
Yes, and a lot of players on the field tonight will have very, very vivid memories of what happened here a year ago. 8 players in the Waterhouse starting lineup tonight started in the final last year. 4 players in the Portmore starting lineup started in that final last year. Waterhouse have in their setup at the moment 3 players who won the Premier League with Portmore United in 2012. Stephen Williams, Damian Binns, and Tremaine Stewart. So these ex-Portmore players want to stop Portmore now from winning again.
Yeah, and I channel my best Ronnie Dicey here, Lance, because he had the hit Familiar Strangers. You know that song very well. These guys, both teams, familiar strangers, teammates at high school, many of them, teammates at club level, but rivals now. This is set up, Lance, to be a blockbuster game.
I can't help but feel that this is going to be a more engaging final than the one last year that we saw no goals and the match ending up in penalties with a victory to Portmore by 4 goals to 3. The pre-match formalities about to happen here at the National Stadium. There's Andre Lewis, former Manning Cup standout for St. George's College.
To be fair, he underwhelmed in these semi-finals, Lance. We remarked on that, but he played the bulk of those games, gets a chance to redeem himself, and he has been rewarded with the start tonight because of the wonderful season that he has been having. But Lance, you know, I love me some Ricardo Morris as a footballer. I think he's a tremendous player, and he will carry a lot of the punch of Portmore tonight.
I think he may very well be the best player on the field, Ricardo Morris. JFF President Michael Ricketts and the Sports Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange. There's Don Anderson as well from the PFAJ, and Christopher Samuda, who is the president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, taking over from Mike Fennell, who had been in that post for more than 40 years. The Waterhouse in their traditional light blue and yellow. There's Nikolai Finlayson being hugged by Babsy-Grange. He has played 17 years of Premier League football, Nikolai Finlayson, George, without a title. About 8 to 10 of those years for Reno,
yes,
and the last years for Waterhouse. He badly wants the title tonight.
Oh yes, that's what his assistant coach Daniel Ben said. And there's the man who's going to mastermind Waterhouse's victory if they do get it. Marcel Fuzzy Gale, a very cool guy, the coolest man in the building. And whatever happens tonight, he'll be, well, the best word to describe him, phlegmatic, Marcel Gale. He's not going to lose his rag for anything. And that calm transmits to the Waterhouse team, especially in the midfield. We must make the point, Lance, that we're going to see 4 fullbacks starting this game who've been outstanding for their team over the course of the season. Young Ricardo Thomas for Waterhouse on one side, that's on the left back. At right back, as we look at the Ricardo Bibi Gardner and Shavara Thomas, the assistant coach and coach of Portmore respectively. And then of course Roberta Johnson has been outstanding for Portmore United, so some outstanding fullbacks on show, and that adds to the spectacle that we're going to enjoy tonight. That's for sure. And we heard Donovan Ducky talking in the pre-match build-up about set plays, probably playing, and Andrew Peart also mentioned it as well, that set plays could actually, based on how closely matched these two teams are in open play, that set plays could be the deciding factor tonight. Yeah, and Waterhouse have the best deliverer from set pieces on the pitch, and that of course is none other than Mark Miller. Mark Miller. That's right. He's had 11 assists so far this season, Mark Miller. And if you're talking the dead ball with an opportunity to shoot at goal, they hardly get any better than Tremaine Stewart. The Jamaica national anthem coming up.
By the crew, Humble.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil parts. Be our light through countless sorrows. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty's call. Strengthen us, the weak to cherish. Give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica,
delivered by the Nomads, the Jamaican national anthem ahead of the Red Stripe Premier League final for 2018-2019. A repeat of the final from last year. Humble is the name of that group, and fine a cappella style there. And they were very, very impressive for sure. The match officials for tonight: Odette Hamilton and the dream team of Stefan Adele Yi Singh and Princess Brown, who will be the two assistant referees from the Caribbean representing this region in the FIFA Women's World Cup finals in France this summer. Rosaria Harriet, the Portmore captain; Keith Simpson, the Waterhouse captain. Getting last-minute instructions from Odette Hamilton. FIFA referee takes charge here of the Red Stripe Premier League final and breaks the sequence of men holding the whistle in a Red Stripe Premier League final.
Oh yes, this is a tremendous achievement, an all-female cast, and you know, we like to talk about tokenism. None of these ladies is here on a token basis. None of them is here in any form of affirmative action pick. They all deserve their place, and yeah, the male referees are outstanding. These women are also outstanding, and it's proper that they've been given a chance to shine on the biggest stage in local football in Jamaica.
So they are Portmore, the defending champions, in their predominantly white outfit with those blue stripes. And they're a picture of focus here tonight. Their fourth consecutive appearance in the Red Stripe Premier League final, equaling what Tivoli achieved in 2008, 09, 2010 and 2011. There's the Portmore starting roster. 4 of these players started last year in the final: Javon East, Roberto Johnson, Ricardo Morris and Osani Ricketts. Solid Portmore lineup here, being led by Rosaria Harriet.
Yeah, the engine room. Damian Williams wearing number 7. Chunky fellow these days, but loads of experience, Premier League winning experience. Himself and Andre Lewis will have a very difficult job on their hands. Morris and Rousseau in front of them, and then Randy Smith, look at him, plays in the hole, at least nominally, and Javon East at the spearhead of the Portmore attack. This is an awesome Portmore team on paper.
Yeah, that's for sure. 2 changes to the lineup that played last week: Ricardo Morris and Randy Smith in for Cleon Price and Hardley Barnes. There's the Waterhouse goalkeeper Diego Houghton, looking very, very relaxed here. The rest of his teammates looking a little bit more serious by their facial expressions. 8 of these players, George, on this starting roster started in the final last year. The only ones not here: Cardell Benbow and Beckford, Kamar Beckford, who are now with Mount Pleasant, and Carlos Barrett, who isn't there anymore.
Absolutely so. This Waterhouse team, apart from Diego Houghton, whose form has been up and down, every other player has been at least a 7 out of 10 in most of the games they've participated in this campaign. And if Waterhouse replicate that kind of form, reflect that kind of quality tonight, they're going to go very, very close, if not win the whole thing. But Keith Sims, number 59, is going to have a crucial role to play behind that 3-man defense, 3-man midfield line in front of him. He's the last option to the defense, and if they get through him, Portmore, they'll have some joy, but getting through him is no mean task.
That's for sure. There's the number 11. You just saw him, Tremaine Stewart, leading scorer for the Waterhouse team, the Portmore team, being led on the scoring table by Javon East. And there's Ronnie Smith, a man who has scored 9 goals so far this season in the number 20 shirt, but hasn't played in the playoffs so far, and gets his starting position tonight.
And that's the reflection of Portmore's quality. They can bring a man who's not been seen for a few games, and he just comes and performs as if he was always a part of the setup. That's the beauty of Portmore. Strength in depth. They have quality by the spade load.
Yes, so we are just a couple of minutes away now from match time. Odette Hamilton has the whistle, and she'll blow this one up pretty soon. The statistics and the analysis of this game would favor a Portmore victory. There are some intangibles when you come to a final, things like the team that wants it more, the hungrier team, the team that displays more tenacity. Those are some more of the immeasurables in a football match. You just have this feeling tonight that Waterhouse score very highly on those counts.
Yeah, Donovan Lucas said something interesting. He said, if Waterhouse win, they'll have to score 1. Well, to score 2. Portmore can score 1 and win, but he believes that Waterhouse must score 2 to win.
Andre Lewis in the number 17 shirt for Portmore hasn't impressed in the semi-final playoffs, but a player with immense quality. Spent some time playing in the USA. Played in the MLS. He was on the Vancouver Whitecaps books for some time. And there's Sonny Ricketts sending a skillful Ricardo Morris wide. Morris's pass forward though, trying to get Rondy Smith going down the right channel. There's Shabar Thomas, a man who also had as a player, as a central defender, a lot of experience playing in the MLS. Played, I think, at least 6 or 7 years in the MLS, and had spent a lot of time with Chivas USA. Kenroy Howell skillfully gets by Johnson. McFarlane stopped by Ryan Wellington. Wellington, a solid Portmore man.
Thing with this Waterhouse team, they have very good dribble penetration in the team. Not a lot of teams in the RSPL have that. Players in central positions who can dribble past the man. Waterhouse have that. Stewart, they have it in the form of Howell, and they have it in the form of a man called Andre McFarlane, who wears number 9 and plays up front.
And Sean Laws to Keith Simpson. At least some games towards the back end of the season, Keith Simpson with an injury but came back just in time. Marcel Gale, who has done a lot of coaching in Waterhouse at the under 13, under 15 and under 17 levels, and gets the big job as head coach this year for the first time, having spent 3 years at UWI. 3 reasonably good years, I must add.
Yeah, I'd suggest that Marcel Gale is not prone to high blood pressure because he's just too cool.
Of course, assistant coach at St. George's College, perennial top flight team in the Manning Cup schoolboy football competition here in Jamaica. There's Mark Miller. Delivers to the penalty spot. It's Laws going there for a big header, but crowded out there.
Again on point from Mark Miller. Does anybody in local football deliver the cross better? No. Mark Miller is the best exponent of the dead ball delivery. And that one was again on point, but unfortunately, Sean Laws crowded out.
Yeah. Big man, Sean Laws got married in December. Didn't play a lot of football in the first and second rounds of the Red Stripe Premier League, but has been a fixture in the team in the third round. And a very, very solid central defender. Huge physical presence and a no-nonsense man. Different physique, this man, Ricardo Thomas, but blazing with speed and energetic runs down the flanks.
I wonder how adventurous he'll be tonight. Sometimes when Waterhouse play the big games, he's quite conservative, doesn't venture forward as much. One suspects that against this Portmore team that can exploit any space left for them, that Ricardo Thomas is likely to spend most of his time at home.
Waterhouse looking patient at the moment. Laws has acres of room at the back. No pressing at the moment from this Portmore team. A lot of time left in the game. Wellington shadows. McFarlane puts pressure on. McFarlane does really well here. The whistle.
The assistant says he crossed the line.
It did.
No, there was a free kick. It's a free kick.
I think there's a spot of an infringement there. Delivered by this man, Andre McFarlane. Player with a lot of skill. And just shoving into the back there of Ryan Wellington. Farley hasn't scored many goals, just 1 goal this season, and only 3 goals last year. A player who holds the ball up very well, and only has 3 assists so far this season.
And anybody who doubts the quality of a centre forward who can hold the ball and create for others, especially with their back to goal, see Giroud for France at the 2018 World Cup in Russia, and the role he played in them winning the trophy.
That's right. Even though as an individual he had to endure a lot of pressure from the fans, so you think that he doesn't deliver as much as he should.
But he was vital in the scheme of things. Without him, that France team would have been markedly different in its approach. And McFarlane offers more to Waterhouse than Giroud does for France.
Daly gives the ball away under pressure because of some Portmore pressing. Williams, Morris, Smith, Rousseau. Smith gives the ball away and Jermaine Stewart wins it. Now Keith Simpson. Simpson doesn't like his forward passing options, so he keeps the ball at home. That much pressing by the Portmore team, just allowing Waterhouse in the early minutes of this game to keep the ball in unthreatening areas. Howell with the chase. Johnson shields the ball expertly. Here's Stephanie Daly-Singh, as we said, going to the World Cup, Women's World Cup in France this summer as an assistant referee.
Yeah, strong Caribbean representation, what with Jamaica being the first Caribbean team to get there to a FIFA Women's World Cup. Look, you won't see Portmore pressing in this early stage of the game because, look, they're not going to leave space behind them by doing anything rash because the game can't be won in the first 10 minutes. But you can lose it in the first 10 minutes.
Tremaine Stewart wins a corner here for Waterhouse. He wasn't as successful as a goal scorer, the Portmore. This is his third season at Waterhouse. Miller's corner. Morris gets it away.
A rare disappointing delivery from Miller from the corner. Couldn't beat the first man.
Simon Ricketts, one of the 4 players in the Portmore starting roster that started last year in the final as well. Miller shoved over there.
Good tracking back by Russell though. Here's Miller bursting forward and Russell on his shoulder quickly. That's what you want from your midfield. Have to do the dirt work sometimes. So Miller sets up another set piece delivery because is this too far for Tremaine Stewart? But he's standing over it, Lance.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he goes for goal from there. There's Emilio Rousseau, St. George's College standout, only 19 years old, first year in the Premiership.
And looks like he belongs.
Yeah. Some fancy hairstyles in the stands.
Fantastic shot, Mr. Director. Thank you very much, sir.
Clear body language here saying he is not going to go. His kick throw is pretty poor. Tremaine Stewart doesn't usually do badly on these set plays, but that was one that he'll want to forget in a hurry. Turns 31 years old on Wednesday, Tremaine Stewart, and wants to give himself an early birthday present. He remembers only too well the 2016 final on his birthday in Montego Bay, losing with Portmore to Montego Bay United. And he doesn't want to repeat this year.
There was a story this last week, Lance, where he said that he may retire at the end of the season. He says that football in Jamaica, as it is now, it's not lucrative enough to take care of himself and his family. So if he wins the Premier League, he'll contemplate seriously giving it up and moving to something else. I found that surprising for a man who's at the height of his powers now in the Premier League.
Yeah, I would have to say that. And getting better, even though he's approaching 31. 7 goals last year. 12 goals already this year, and with the previous years he had played for Portmore, just 4 goals 2 successive years. The 2 last years he played for Portmore, so his career in the Red Stripe Premier League has been elevated.
Never been better.
Yeah, so that would be a bit of a surprise. Rousseau has scored many goals for St. George's College from set plays. But this is not an opportunity, I wouldn't think, for him to go directly at goal. Was used for St. George's College in the Manning Cup competition between left back and also in a midfield position. He's that versatile utility kind of player, but constantly in the defensive role here for Portmore with his youth and agility.
Early spot in this game, the midfield very crowded, so you haven't been able to see Damien Williams, the number 7 for Portmore just yet, or Kemara Dada Daly for Waterhouse influencing proceedings. It's the men closest to the centre halves, the deepest lying midfielders who've been the midfielder of either side to get on the ball so far, because it's just so congested in the middle of the park where both teams seem to want to start play from.
Keith Simpson goes wide here to McFarlane. Delightful play from McFarlane. Howell. Good touch there by Roberto Johnson.
Excellent defending, and the crowd angry with Howell. They didn't want him to try a trick there. They wanted him to drive across the face, flash a shot across the face of goal, or pass across the face of goal, and he didn't.
We just saw Andre McFarlane deliver that bit of trick that he used to deceive Kyle Ming last week in the semi-final second leg against Cavalier. Unleashed a tremendous left footer that was brilliantly saved by
St. Michael Edwards.
Yeah, the Cavalier goalkeeper. Just a bit of roll over the football in one direction and a quick shift to the other direction, tricking the player. McFarlane has immense ability. Miller almost gets rid of Rousseau there, but Rousseau is right there with him. Gives up a corner.
Tremendously well done by Mark Miller, the one saying he got some studs from Rousseau. And a bit of argy-bargy over on the far side. No, it's a goal kick because the ricochet came off him, so very well defended by young Rousseau.
Yeah. Certainly looked to make it as if the last touch came off Rousseau. But Stephanie Dale is right there.
I think she got it right. The replay suggests she got it right, Mark. Still angry.
Spent a lot of time at Harbourview. Mark Miller was also on the Humberland book at one point. Paul takes no chances as he leaves his 18-yard area. Simpson. Summer gets blocks the effort down the left channel.
So these first 11 plus minutes, Waterhouse have been the more forceful team. Portmore unable to get any rhythm going, but you sense that they're playing a containing game before they settle in and become a little bit more expansive with their use of the ball.
Two teams that have been among the best attacking and among the best defensive teams in the Premier League during the regular season. Portmore kept clean sheets in an amazing 17 of their 33 games in the regular season. That's nothing to scoff at, is it? Waterhouse not that bad either. 14 of their 33 games in the regular season, George, they did not concede a goal.
Tremendous.
So these two teams, statistically and otherwise, have shown themselves to be the best in the league this year and have quite earned their spot in tonight's final. Lewis loses possession. Stewart, Simpson. Waterhouse is very, very patient tonight, although this man, Finlayson, quite often tries to get the ball downfield with long passes. This does Laws. And he goes again. Inaccurate pass from Laws.
Horrible miscue.
And Laws has seen many clubs in his career, even though he's only 25 years old. Played for Barbican, Cavalier, Reno, and also had a short stint at Arnott Gardens as a teenager. Of course, history records that as an under-17 player, he was a national goalkeeper, Sean Laws. But I guess he got bored in the goal, George, and wants to be an outfield player. You know, he's a central defender, and a good one too. Good build-up here by Waterhouse. Ricardo Thomas. Oh, the loose touch there, poor. Pushes the ball onto the post. But the ball just got away from him there, Ricardo Thomas, but he had a lot of room, and he would be very disappointed that he didn't make more of that.
At no time chasing this did I get the impression that he had his composure about it. Look at him, looking down. At no time did he even look across to see who he would deliver it to. Was almost fighting the ball to get it under control, and he failed.
Yeah. That's a moment of anxiety from Ricardo Thomas. This is a final. They know how important this is for the Waterhouse team. Laws just making sure that Horton gets safely to the ball. Miller.
Danger.
East. Morris. Goes for goal from distance, Morris. And that was an effort to fool the goalkeeper because he approached the ball so nonchalantly that maybe the goalkeeper didn't expect a shot, but I think he deliberately went to the ball in that manner to get the surprise shot.
Oh yes, he did. Just at the last moment they realized that he was going to pull the trigger, Ricardo Morris. And don't believe he can't find the target from there. He can.
Yeah, one of the outstanding domestic players able to force their way into the national setup, Ricardo Morris. A standout in the Da Costa Cup with St. James High.
And it's true that over the past 3 or even 4 years, He's been an ever-present in Jamaican squads as a local-based player, except when he's injured. And remember his heart condition, Lance, that took him out of contention for the national program at some point.
Yeah, that was actually right before the Gold Cup, the Centenario, the Copa Centenario. There's Javon East breaking free. His cross, dangerous. And Laws squeezes the ball behind for a corner. So nervous moments there for the Waterhouse defense.
Yeah, and Ricardo Morris asking Javon East, why didn't you share that with me? Because he was standing in some space. Long ball from the back from Roberto Johnson. Nikolai Phillips gets turned too easily. And East was going for goal, I thought. And the passing option was at the back post. Portmore warming up though.
Yeah, 16 minutes in. This is Emilio Rousseau, the 19-year-old, with a corner kick for Portmore. Stewart gets there first. Foul by Johnson on Tremaine Stewart. His shoulder is hurting.
And I don't know what Wellington is appealing about, because that was clearly a foul. In the olden days, they'd say the professional foul. He stopped the counter-attack the only way he could, which was to execute a good body check on Tremaine Stewart. And I don't know what Roberto Johnson is angry about. That was a yellow card. Look at this. Clearly, look how high the elbow is held to ensure the player doesn't run past you. The ball goes past, but not the man. That's a yellow card all day, son.
Yeah, he was being smart about it, but the effect was detrimental to the Waterhouse counter, and breaking the transition play that Waterhouse were about to exhibit. So I think the pain there is from the elbow, which jarred into his shoulder, and then he fell heavily as well, Tremaine Stewart. But you know, maybe these Portmore men, former teammates of Tremaine Stewart, have targeted him tonight as one of their jobs that they've got to ensure that he doesn't flourish.
Crucial point you've raised, because in the interview I said I read up with him this week, or last week, he said that many people would expect him to be wound up for this game because of his former ties with Portmore United. But he says he'll be very calm. This is the pass. Roberto Johnson gets a bad pass from Damian Williams, and he executes a body check and justifiably gets into the book, and Wellington lucky to not get into the book as well.
Yeah, so in a lot of pain, Tremaine Stewart. It's clear that his shoulder is hurting. So nervous moments here for Waterhouse, because a Waterhouse team without Tremaine Stewart is considered a significantly impaired Waterhouse team.
Do you know another top footballer who recently suffered a shoulder injury, lads?
Oh boy.
Leave alone. Shoulder arms. Shoulder arms.
So there's the culprit, Roberto Johnson. And Tremaine Stewart is out of the game for a while. Leslie trying to keep the ball in. Free kick to Portmore. So the magic spear is going to be applied here to Tremaine Stewart, because they want to get him back into the game as quickly as possible. But he's still grimacing there. And there are some players running up, including Donaldo Thomas and Stephen Williams. Two of the three Waterhouse men who played for Portmore in their championship-winning team in 2012 are on the bench. Damian Binns and Stephen Williams. Morris, Rondi Smith, Osani Ricketts. Smith miscontrols. Gets the ball back. There's East. East may want to strike a goal. Does! But Howell gets in the way. Another strike from East. Waterhouse defenders working overtime.
Yeah, two good blocks there. The better of them, the last one by Sean Laws. Portmore have come alive. They've gone up a notch. Now they're into the rhythm of the game. After waiting and looking at what Waterhouse had to offer, like a skilled boxer, looking at the combinations his opponent was throwing, and the stance he was using, orthodox or southpaw, they've gone up to the party.
Brilliant turn there by Javon East. Tumbles over from the challenge from Finlayson. East wants some kind of compensation for the fact that he thought he was tripped from behind. No go, says referee out at Hamilton. Let's see what happened there. No foul. Just as he was approaching. Just before that, Javon East was off as center of attraction. Close to the strike here. Howell gets in the way. And then second time, Laws gets in the way. So two Javon East strikes blocked. And the Portmore men hold their heads in disappointment.
Waterhouse strategy clear. Defenders take it from the back, look long. So it's the quarterback pass that Waterhouse have been trying to use since the start of the game for 20 minutes now. Perhaps it's time that they mix up that approach a little.
Both these teams, based on their good road record, would be very, very comfortable here at the National Stadium. Portmore boasting the best road record in the season, 9 wins away from home. 11 of the 17 matches they played away, they won. Only 2 losses and gathered by far the most road points in the league. So not playing at home is no problem for Portmore. No problem for Waterhouse either, because their road record, 9 wins away from home. Only Portmore had more wins away from home in the regular season than they did. So apart from the fact that the National Stadium is a wonderful surface to play at, they will be unperturbed by not being on their home patch.
Yeah, the central midfielders of both teams, as I've noted, not really influential. Damian Williams growing into the game for Portmore United. Cameron Daly has been rather quiet. Keith Simpson has seen more of the action. Andre Leslie in your picture now has had some moments. But Portmore just feel just wresting control from Waterhouse now.
Dennis pass trying to squeeze through there to McFarlane. Harriet got in the way. Johnson stumbles over the ball. And here's Lewis. As we said, yet to deliver his best performances. Here he's dribbling through the middle now. A lot of room for him. Morris. Randy Smith. His first touch wasn't as good as it needed to be, so he lost control. Ricardo Thomas's long ball forward looking for McFarlane. McFarlane wins a free kick.
No, handball.
Oh, there's a handball.
Yeah. Just made a cradle with his arm to control that long pass.
McFarlane also had a stint of Tivoli Gardens. Before going to Waterhouse.
It's almost a misnomer to call him a striker because he doesn't score many. But there are so many aspects to his play, so many qualities that he has. Real good team player, Andre McFarlane is, and exhibits good discipline.
There's East. Doesn't have much support on the front end. Waits for the support. Nice kick there by Lewis. And Ricardo Thomas fights determinedly for the ball. McFarlane. Harriet gets in the way. There's a whistle though. Free kick to Waterhouse.
Wow, McFarlane was trying to spring Leslie down the left. A handball blocking that particular effort.
So Stewart is back on the field and looking fluent enough. Kamar Daly, whose goal last week against Cavaliers sealed the 3-0 aggregate win over the Cavalier team. Good passing for McFarlane is controlled, they're letting him down there. Free kick on by Portmore for the challenge on this man. Damian Williams, he's 38 years old now, Damian Williams. Wow, but still commands a spot here in this Portmore team.
28.
Yeah. The kind of role he has, because Portmore displays so much dominance in their game, doesn't have a heavy load of running because he just shores up that holding midfield position, so he just picks up a lot of loose balls, does a fair amount of tackling when he can, and distributes mostly short passes just to keep the game steady and the rhythm going.
It's funny you say it like that, because if he has a bad game, Portmore are going to be in serious trouble. But his role, as you say, almost minimalist is the word I use to describe what he actually does on the field. But if he has an off day, that's a significant weakness in the Portmore team for the opponent to exploit.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because it would mean that some of his passes may be off, and he can't afford to lose the ball where he's at, because he's usually on the edge of the defensive third. Ricketts overlaps down the right, cuts inside, but stopped. Big Laws gets rid of the ball.
Excellent from Ricketts, dodging 2 challenges there, but alert defending. That's what you want your centre half to do, to come and bail out his fullback when he gets skinned, as Ricardo Thomas was just now, and Leslie running back couldn't help him. But from about the 12th minute forward, there's been a slight momentum shift in the game, and Portmore now look like the team making the running.
No praise too high for what this Portmore team has offered to the fans for 4 consecutive seasons. 4 consecutive appearances in the Red Stripe Premier League final. A team that will actually see a few champions as well back in 2005, beating Suriname's Robin Hood in the final. The Grenadian standout Anthony Modest was a part of that Portmore team then, and actually scored in the first leg of that final.
His tactical understanding of the game, Anthony Modest, was remarkable in the context of the Premier League in Jamaica.
East breaks free here, but Horton gets there first.
One of the rare occasions we've seen Portmore go long, Lance. Remember how they went long and sprung Javon East against Mount Pleasant in the first leg semi-final? Trying to do that again just now.
There's some thought that Barcelona may in fact employ that long ball route, uncharacteristic as it may be for them, but because of the Liverpool high press game, they feel they can use some long balls and eliminate some of those high pressing Liverpool men when they battle in the UEFA Champions League semis.
Oh, that would be a good tactic. And then if that fails, you have the best dribbler in world football in probably the last 30 years or so. That ball is turned over and Messi gets it on the break. Wow.
Yeah. Here comes Waterhouse. Delightful pass. Tremaine Stewart drives it goal to the near post. Paul looks as if he had it covered, but Tremaine Stewart shows that he is up for business tonight.
Very nice build-up play from Waterhouse. Look at the play developing. It's Mark Miller slips Tremaine Stewart down the channel, but he was always covered. And Paul had an interest in the shot, but only a trifling interest.
So Tremaine Stewart, Damien Binns and Stephen Williams, 3 men in this current Waterhouse roster, played on the winning Portmore Red Stripe Premier League team in 2012. Horton, 28 minutes gone. No injuries yet for Horton, so I guess that would make the headlines.
Oh yes, my friend, oh yes. I was waiting to say it. You beat me to it.
Lewis. Morris. Rondy Smith is with him. Poor pass by Morris. Just sprays the ball wide of everyone and gives up a throw. There's Moses Davis. He's a Waterhouse supporter, isn't he?
Oh yes, he sings about Waterhouse a lot in his songs, and has done so for many years.
One of the most durable voices in the dancehall business. 2 decades and more.
One of the most prolific artists in any genre. There's a press conference being called by the referee, Lance, in the middle of the park. Well, in the Waterhouse half. I wonder why.
There's something that Hamilton isn't happy about. Tremaine Stewart is known for getting into arguments with match officials. He looks very flustered at the moment.
I can't believe him. Then that means Tremaine told us a lie. In that interview, that extensive interview, he said he'd be on his best behavior, Lance, because he knows that the Portmore players are going to want to be winding him up. And he said that I'm going to be very, very calm because I'm there to play football, not to engage in arguments. And here he is. Odette Hamilton says she's done. Next infringement, he goes in the book.
I think one of his teammates should get to him, George, and pull him away.
His captain.
Yeah, a couple of words in the ear, you know. Tremaine, cool down, man. We need you tonight.
And you know, we've seen him have his best games when he has no interaction with the referee whatsoever.
Yes. One of the things that Waterhouse has used to build their confidence going into this match, George, the last match they faced Portmore in the third round in 0-0 draw, Tremaine Stewart and Keith Simpson were absent from that game, two of their most pivotal players. So
yes.
They think with them back in now, they must even, you know, in theory at least, you know, have something to go on here.
Absolutely.
Damien Williams, almost the last man in defense just now on that play. There's Ryan Wellington, solid central defender for Portmore. One of the reasons why their defense is so good, as we said, 17 of the 33 games this season they had clean sheets. Wellington, of course, played at Harbourview last year when Harbourview were the best defensive team in the league. East. Morris, cut off here by Ricardo Thomas, who read the play. Although Javon East's pass could have been a little better.
It was a poor option. There were two men running into open space to his left. He ignored them, and the stadium let out a collective groan when he opted to go for the pass to the right.
Johnson. East wants the ball. Johnson does nothing really. Well, that certainly wasn't a shot.
The best players have this awareness. Look at this. Portmore played themselves out of trouble expertly. Look at East. Look at those two men, Randy Smith and Rousseau to his left. And he didn't pass to them. The best players, Lance, have this sense of awareness where you're watching on television, you see something developing, they see it too. Javon East didn't see it just now.
Leslie, challenged by Ricketts. Howell goes for a strike. Got a lot of power on the shot, but the direction was off from Howell.
Not a bad effort on his weaker left foot. Really gave that some sting. Just got under it a bit. Good work from the midfielders of the pair of Leslie and Kamara Daly.
Harriet to Rondi Smith. Wellington. Morris. Portmore spreading the ball around. Lewis doing a lot with the ball here. Finally gets his captain in. McFarlane wants a free kick, doesn't get it. Play continues. Bit of argy-bargy there with Mark Miller and Roberto Johnson. Referee Hamilton has to step in. Yellow card from Miller.
Was he the aggressor there, though? I'm wondering. Johnson took exception to this, to the roughness with which Miller tackled him as he sought to win back the ball. As we look at the red stripe segment of the grandstand, looks like Ricardo Nuncio, top boss there. But this is it. Miller trying to get around Johnson, makes himself big with his arms. And look at this. Yeah, he has to get the yellow card because he's the aggressor. Yeah, correct.
But I know what angered him. There was an elbow that flew up there from Johnson. I don't think it connected, but I think Miller was angered by that.
Yes.
But you know, retaliation always hurts you. So the yellow card from Mark Miller. Portmore United only 4 of their 33 games in the regular season they didn't score. So it wasn't often that they weren't on the score sheet, Portmore. Waterhouse significantly less in their stats. The back heel and an inadvertent touch there from Thomas squirts the ball to the goalkeeper.
Wow, what a sequence. I think it even touched the Leslie, because Thomas was here. Look at this. Passes, hard pass into the feet of McFarlane, and his back heel expansive. Yeah, it came off Leslie first.
Yeah, and that may have made things a little difficult for Ricardo Thomas, just tripping over the ball there and getting far too heavy a touch onto the ball. But Waterhouse having a very exciting moment there.
But let's talk about touch. Look at the power with which Thomas fired that ball into McFarlane's feet, and he killed it stone dead with one touch. With the studs, stopped it. Then the back heel, tremendous.
McFarlane is a player with a lot of skill on the ball. His touches are very, very sublime. Free kick to Portmore. Osana Ricketts struck in the abdomen, it seems. Leslie isn't convinced that he's that badly hurt.
So just to review what we've seen to this point, as Ricketts gives us a chance to take stock of this game. Waterhouse started better, but after minute 12, Portmore slightly took the advantage, but it's been tight going. It's been a midfield battle. Tactically, both teams have defended very well. Waterhouse have had to fling some bodies in the path of shots on target. East has had a sniff. The man over the ball now, Ricardo Morris, has had a chance from distance. And Waterhouse have had a few moments in or around Shavin Sean Paul's goal for Portmore.
There are about 6 white shirts for Portmore in the box here, looking for goals. Wow. Houghton fails to hold it. Luckily for him, he wasn't directly in front of the goal. The ball slid through his arms and went behind for a corner.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Misjudged the flight of the ball. Criminally almost. And as you say, lucky he wasn't directly in front of his net.
Morris, very, very exciting player. And this is Rousseau with a free kick, with a corner. Harriet climbing high. Got the header, but off target. There's Portmore's strong bench, including Romain Brackenridge, who was a top central defender at Tivoli Gardens and captain for several seasons before his transfer last summer. And here's Ricardo Harriet.
And he is?
The fireman. Where's his fire helmet? Howell under some pressure. Does well. Daly slides the ball forward. McFarlane loses his balance as he went to chase.
Yeah, I don't think he read the pass, McFarlane. He reacted to it, which is when he changed direction and slipped. Daly just wanted to pop that over the top of the defense line for him to run on to, but not the same wavelength.
Kamara Dada Daly, now 31 years old, was a Red Stripe Premier League winner with Tivoli Gardens back in 2011. Also played for Harbourview and UWI. Lewis to Harriet. Harriet back to his captain, to his goalkeeper. Here comes Wellington. Just about 6 minutes to the half-time break. There's time to be added on for stoppages. Russell picks up a loose ball. Rondi Smith. Ricketts. Waterhouse falling in line behind the ball, so Portmore having difficulty finding holes, and now they've lost the ball. Looking gripping without being
overly exciting.
Yeah. There's no excitement out there. Well, there have been some isolated moments of quality from individual players.
East under pressure. Finlayson knocks him over. East is upset.
Yeah. Like a woodsman hacking at a tree with an axe until East eventually fell. Finlayson was determined not to lose out here. Look at that. Yeah.
Kicking Finlayson. And East getting several boots in his leg. Stewart.
What both teams have done, Lance, is to stop the opposing creative midfielders from playing. They've done that very, very well. So both teams have spoiled it very well.
Morris. Lewis. Morris made one goal here. Wow. A lot of power, but too high from Ricardo Morris.
Can't believe they gave him that space. We all knew what would happen when he set that on his left foot. And this is the passing exchange between himself and Lewis. Lewis finds him here. And look at the slowness with which they're going to close down. Oh, a chance again for Javon East there.
Through there, giving to Portmore. Pretty certain that came off Randy Smith, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And Carl Thomas can't believe that the call is against him. Here's Williams. Forward there to Ricardo Morris. Throw on by Portmore. Where is it? The referee, yes, has awarded the show with a pass inside, but Lowe's gets the header out.
Superb intervention from Big Sean.
Yeah, and Leslie comes and assists in defense as well. And a promising counterplay now from Waterhouse, slowed up though. Simpson to Daly. Leslie. Knocked off the ball by Rondi Smith. And there goes East. Daly takes Lewis down. Free kick to Portmore.
Another yellow card. And this one is deserved as well for Kemar Daly. Was left by Lewis with a neat little turn. Look at Lewis, sees him coming and does this and catches him on the knee.
Yeah, good for Daly. But Lewis, just his comfort on the ball and his efficiency today a lot better than we saw in the two semi-final legs.
Yeah, very unhurried on the ball. Confident that he can use his body to manipulate the ball and to dodge the challenges. But while both teams, as I noted, have stifled very well the opposing midfield, neither has created very well to this point. Yeah. That's what the game is lacking.
Short pass by Williams. Here comes Lewis again. Wilson. Johnson. Nicely coming back to help out in defence for Waterhouse.
The game just being played also a bit narrow. I don't see both teams using the full width of the pitch, and that's not how they've played all season long, so I shouldn't be surprised. But I think that would help to free up space for the attackers on both teams.
Morris tries to get away from Howell. Miller, vital clearance.
Wow, Damien Williams' strength there. Held off Andre McFarlane very easily, and it's not easy to keep McFarlane off when he's charging, trying to wing back the ball. But Williams like a little bull.
By far the oldest player on the field, Damien Williams.
3 minutes added on for stoppages. There's the crossback. He's putting the chase on. Collision there between Horton and East. He appears to be filming the camera. The sports next now. Keith Simpson gives the ball away. Rousseau. East under pressure. Lewis. Ricketts. Overhit that cross was. Miller does well here against Rousseau. Huge fight for the ball close to the corner flag. Leslie. Good lead football there from Daly. Johnson trying to recover.
Not good enough from Leslie Lance because the pass was on. The space was ahead of the runner. He needed to start put the ball into the space. He wanted to play the ball to feet. That wasn't necessary.
Minute 47. Oh, the 3 minutes added on for stoppages. Expiring. And there goes East under some pressure from Lords. The speedy Thomas gets there before Ricketts does. Talk about industry.
The crowd loved that. The Waterhouse faithful giving him the cheers. Electric Ricardo Thomas. And I wonder how soon before Theodore Whitmore even invites him to the training squad just to have a closer look at him.
Yeah. Of course, Kevin Lawrence, who plays for the New York Red Bulls in the MLS, has pretty much secured that left back role for Jamaica in international football, but Ricardo Thomas certainly is putting his hand up. Whistle. 3 minutes. Time added on. Expiring, says Odette Hamilton. No goals here in this first half of this Red Stripe Premier League final 2018-2019. And pictures there of the two leading scorers, Javon East and Tremaine Stewart, locked on 12 goals in the Golden Boot rush, along with Colorado Murray of Tivoli. No goals for them. No goals for either team. And like they were in the final last year when they were 0-0, even after extra time and penalties decided it, no goals at halftime here. We'll be back with a halftime, with the first time highlights and our halftime features after this short break.
Gold medal pan me now. Red Stripe alone champion boy go. Pan up for them a singing and tender. Red Stripe, watch out. Man shall I make forward boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boys go. Every goal win a run from boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run him all again boy. The Red Stripe Premier League champion boy. Yeah.
This is Island Car Rentals. We are a world-class Jamaican company, and we know just how to make you feel at home, like family. And this is our island, Jamaica. Whatever the reason, come explore paradise with us. For business or leisure, because island people take better care of you.
Warmth, outpouring, longing, thrill, excitement, desire, heat, emotion, outburst, exultation, enthusiasm, idle, adoration, affection, idolatry, fervor, devotion, spark, passion, love. Behind every badge beats a feeling.
It's been a lot of fun here in Jamaica. It's probably the most relaxing golf tournament I've ever been to.
SPGA Tour Latino America.
Welcome to Jamaica, the home of all right.
Here in Kingston, Jamaica, the Red Stripe Premier League final for 2018-2019 locked at 0-0. The defending champions Portmore putting their title on the line against Waterhouse, the team they beat for the title last year. Portmore appearing in their 4th consecutive Red Stripe Premier League final. To the highlights we go. Odette Hamilton in charge of this match. She has the whistle. Portmore with a kickoff, but it was Waterhouse who had the early look at goal with Big Sean Laws barging in there with his 230 plus pounds. McFarlane sent Ricardo Thomas away down the left flank, but he got his legs tangled up.
Yeah, always looking at the ball, never looking up to see who was on the receiving end of the cross, and in the end, he couldn't even bring it under control. Unfortunate there. And then Portmore stringing a few passes together. East on the left foot, blocked once. Dodges a challenge, blocked twice by Laws. Good defending from Waterhouse. Portmore bearing their fangs for the first time in the game. Then look at Thomas. Bounces into one challenge. Fires in that pass forward. One to McFarlane. Runs onto the back heel, and then it gets tangled up between his legs and Andre Leslie's legs and breaks to the goalkeeper Shavin Sean Paul and goal for Portmore. Then Portmore come again. Morris takes it from Lewis. Looked closer from this angle, but from the other angle, didn't go close to Horton's goal, and the tail of the tape lands.
That's right, 5 attempts on goal by Portmore, 3 on target. Only 2 shots on goal by Waterhouse, neither of them on target. 10 fouls in the match so far, 7 of them committed by Waterhouse players. 3 yellow cards, 2 of them by Waterhouse players. Only 3 corners in the match so far, 2 to Portmore, who have more ball possession at the moment at 61%. So Portmore having a lot more time on the ball here than Waterhouse.
Yeah, Lance, Chronic Law is performing. He's the artist from, I'm sure people would have been hearing about the Six Boss and the Six Camp, and yeah, he's a member of the latest group Running Dancehall in Jamaica, going through his hits, and the cell phones going off into the crowd tell you how many people are familiar with his music. Yeah, Donald Oliver is lying in wait, and he takes up this end of the broadcast.
Well, the atmosphere is picking up, and so is the noise inside the National Stadium. I'm actually hoping that Mike Ricketts, the president of the JFF, can actually hear me above this noise inside the National Stadium. Welcome to our set. Let's talk about the state of Jamaica's football. A lot of good things have been happening in the recent weeks, including the fact that Jamaica will be hosting a Gold Cup match. What's with the turning of the tide, so to speak, in the last few weeks in your opinion?
Well, I would want to think it's far more than just a week, because we would have had some things happening for the first time, a number of things, 4 or 5 maybe, and this is absolutely hard work. And indeed, I lead a federation that is intent on improving the quality of the sport of football. And I always say that our agenda, one item. We must improve the quality of football. And that's exactly what we are doing right now.
You would have been discussing the prep for the women as they head off to the World Cup. What are some of the things that are in the pipeline for their preparation?
Well, first and foremost, we bring them back here for a game against Panama on May 19. The day after, we move into Florida for a short camp for 5 days. And the diaspora in Florida have planned a number of events. Of course, one being a football game and some fundraisers. We leave immediately after. We play Scotland on May 28th in Scotland. Again, we move from Scotland into London, where Jamaica National, in collaboration with the diaspora in London, will be hosting us for 2 days. Thereafter, we move straight into France. The coaches were contemplating whether or not they should have another game, but the final decision is that they won't. And of course, after Scotland and England, we go straight down to France. Our first game will be against Brazil on June 9 in a city called Grenoble. Hopefully, we can leave Grenoble with 3 points, and then certainly we take it from there.
Well, obviously there's been growth in women's football, but let's talk a little bit about the Premier League, because a lot of expectations are there for the Premier League to grow. What can the JFF do in order to facilitate that growth?
Well, the JFF as a parent organization certainly has overall responsibility over football. But the PFAJ has direct responsibility for organizing and running the Premier League. We must now partner with both the PLCA and the PFAJ to ensure that the end product, the quality, is at a premium. And it is encouraging what we have seen this evening. I think the football was pretty decent, and the support I really think is commendable. We really want to use the opportunity to congratulate both finalists, Portmore and of course Waterhouse. Indeed, so far, it's really worthy being a final.
The quality of the pitches usually a concern over the years. Has there been or will there be a concerted effort to improve that in particular?
Well, the JFF is leading that right now. For the first time, we laid a synthetic pitch. And of course, that is probably not acceptable for international football. But at least our youngsters will get a chance to play on an even, good surface. I have had the opportunity of going to Haiti with the under-20 squad. When we got to the venue, it was a synthetic pitch. Our guys had never played on such a surface. It therefore presented a challenge. We at the JFF have provided a synthetic pitch, and of course we want to ensure, I want to encourage private sector, we want to encourage government, we want to encourage the respective municipalities to come on board, partner with the JFF, and let's ensure that we have better services. If we don't have good services, we're not going to make good players.
Who do you think is going to win tonight?
Pardon?
Who do you think is going to win tonight, this RSPL final?
Well, the truth is, when I look at the statistics, Portmore has 61% of the possession so far. If we are going to go by that, then Portmore could be the winner. But so far, I think both teams are playing pretty decent football, and like I say, it's really worth being a final.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for making time to spend with us here inside the home of champions as we go back upstairs now to Lantern George.
Yes, so the fans still being entertained in mid-pitch. Good crowd here at the National Stadium here, Waterhouse and Portmore battling for the 2018-19 Premier League title. 0-0 the score is. We'll be back with the second half after this.
gold medal pan me now. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan up for them a sing anthem. Red stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man, shall I make a forward boy? Red stripe Premier League champion boys go. Every boy when I run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run him all of them boy. The Red stripe Premier League champion boy, yeah yo.
Good sized crowd at the National Stadium here for this Red Stripe Premier League final 2018-2019. Portmore in white, the defending champions. Their title on the line here against the Waterhouse team, looking for their first Premier League title in 13 years. After 45 minutes, no goals yet in this match. Portmore engaged in their fourth consecutive final in the Red Stripe Premier League, equaling the feat of Tivoli Gardens, who reached 4 consecutive finals between 2008 and 2011. Of course, no team at the moment can get to the irrepressible Santos of the 1970s. Santos, of course, Premier League champions 4 years in a row, 74, 75, 76 and 1977. Portmore, though, developing a tremendous CV as a top club team all time in the country. They already have more titles than any other team in the history of the domestic Premier League competition. And if they win tonight, they would extend that record to 7, having won 6 already.
What can I say? 6 is real.
Yeah.
Even Lance gets it, Keenan.
Some Mount Pleasant fans still sticking around here for this final. Of course, they were beaten in the third place playoff by 1-0 by Cavalier earlier on. Alex Marshall getting his goal and moving his tally of goals for the season to 11. Just one behind the top 3 men, Colorado Murray, Tremaine Stewart and Javon East. So the Golden Boot Award still up for grabs here tonight, with East for Portmore, Stewart for Waterhouse. Still in with a shot, Colorado Murray, of course, also with 12, but with Tivoli already out of the championship. And there's Tremaine Stewart.
Yeah, so, sorry Lance,
to increase his goal tally, Tremaine Stewart.
Yeah, Tremaine Stewart has had an involved first half, let's put it that way. Has been a part of some good things and then some chippy moments with the referee. Taken out here by Roberto Johnson while Waterhouse were transitioning into the counter-attack and hurt his shoulder, getting the magic spray applied by the Waterhouse medical team and really feeling the pain. Did go down heavily and then had this shot at Shavon Sean Paul's near post, and then the referee giving him a royal telling off here and telling him that she's done the next infraction. I'm sure she's going to take his name and put it in her book. Will it be the book with the yellow card beside it, or the red card is only the only question? And half-time came, I think, at a good time for Tremaine Stewart, Lance, giving him a chance to cool down.
Tremaine Stewart, one of 3 men on the Waterhouse roster that won the Red Stripe Premier League with Portmore 7 years ago in 2012. Now they want to beat Portmore. Damien Vince, Stephen Williams and Tremaine Stewart. Odette Hamilton having the 2 Women's FIFA World Cup bound assistant referees, Princess Brown and Stephanie Dale Yeasing, assisting her tonight. Waterhouse in a huddle. Portmore already setting their stalls out and ready to play. What a battle we have on our hands here tonight. 61% ball possession for Portmore, so they have had a lot more time on the ball. Oh, a few of the more threatening attacks, or a couple of threatening attacks, have come from Waterhouse, but they just petered out in the final third. Second half up and running. Stewart's ambitious pass upfield doesn't find Kenroy Howell.
Portmore's combination play when building their attacks, those plays have been impressive. His team, though, Marcel Gale's team, Waterhouse, have defended them well, throwing some bodies in front of Efferson, diving to cut out passes, couple moments they're dangerous. Then Portmore just need that one extra pass to be accurate, and they'll be in. And that's what they're looking to execute in the second half. We'll keep that passing sequence. A couple of times they've built well from the back, but just that final pass being cut out. And they'll be confident that they can spring this Waterhouse defense if they keep chipping away.
So could this, like it did last year, end in a deadlock and penalties decided again? Siobhan Thomas and his coaching staff. Thomas leaves Jamaica at the end of this current season to take up an appointment in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Started their national coaching program. And 3 other Jamaicans have already gone there. Andrew Edwards, Aaron Lawrence, and Omar Edwards. Ricketts, and crowded out by 2 Waterhouse men, Howell and Thomas.
Not quite at the stage of the game yet where we're going to talk about substitutions. But with that even with that as the case, you have to think that Portmore have the game changers on their bench, and they have more of them than Waterhouse does.
Yeah, that's for sure. Rousseau. 6 white shirts in the box. And the header in the end, I think, from Ricketts, but Horton gets there in time.
Yeah. Positioning helping him there, David Horton. Yeah, right on the premises. Easy in the end.
And so Ricketts got the header in under some pressure because there were some Waterhouse men there making things uncomfortable for him.
Marcel Gill may want to switch Andre Leslie's positioning because he didn't give him much in that first half, and it wasn't often that they played to Andre McFarlane's feet. So Leslie's the man in the attack now who's not quite ticking for Waterhouse. Everybody else is putting in the work. Mind you, Leslie's doing good defensive work, but that's not his main brief out there. It is to create an attack and to score goals. Yeah, we're just being told, Lance, that of course Portmore scored in the first half of their victory over Arnett Gardens 2 seasons ago. So if you count the second half of that Arnett Gardens game, which they lost, the 2 halves against Waterhouse last season, the first half of this game, it's been a while since Portmore scored a goal from open play in the final.
Over 200 minutes.
Oh yes. That's not by accident. That's a definite strand into what is likely to happen here, because it's effectively the same team, the same philosophy.
Yeah. That's the thing about a final where no team wants to lose, so you play a game that is measured. You don't want to give too much up, so you want to ensure that you play a safe kind of game, but you want to get a goal to win the game anyhow. But just sometimes you see these finals that get caught in that middle position, just neither team wanting to take the risks.
Yeah, and you said safe. The coaches don't like that word, almost as if it's a blight on their coaching ability. So I say to them, okay, so you're taking the risk-averse route. And they normally smile when it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, great ball there to Leslie. Can't get around the shot properly. Rousseau blocks the effort.
Tremendous defending from Rousseau. Step by step with Leslie. Very difficult for the Waterhouse forward to cross that ball. So it's confirmed. Portmore have a scoring problem in open play in Red Stripe Premier League finals.
Let's see if they will pay for that here. That gets that header out. And as far as to Kimardea. First pass forward is poor, aiming for McFarlane.
Should have gone back to his defender. I thought that was what he was going to do. him that there wasn't any good forward options. Had a couple moments in the first half, but has not exerted the control on this game that a player like himself thrives on. Needs to get into a rhythm, needs to be running the game. And the first half at points ran by him. He needs to get a grip of things.
Let's talk about Portmore finding it difficult to score in finals. Evident here at the moment, and more glaring when you think of this team that has been scoring so fluently. They scored 17 goals in their last 7 regular season matches. And in their last 9 matches, all told, they've scored 20 goals. So they've been scoring more than a goal a match.
Yeah. 3 yellow cards already by Odette Hamilton. Will she produce a 4th? Miller and Daly in the book for Waterhouse, and Roberta Johnson for Portmore. And there's a dispute here that she has to sort out. But if you go back to the final before the Arnott Gardens final, they lost. Mobay United, they were beaten by a pair of Dina Williams goals. Was that 2-0?
2-1.
2-1, all right.
Damian Binns had scored the scorcher.
You mean Michael Binns?
Michael Binns had scored the scorcher, yeah.
So this is Keith Simpson's ball forward, and then Argy Bargy. Nothing much. I don't know why the men are... Oh, that's the reason. Okay. Yeah, so Michael Binns scored in the second half. So if you take that game and add it to what we just did, Portmore's record of scoring from open play in the last 4 in 3 previous finals, plus the first half of this final, is what, 2 goals?
Yeah.
Oh my.
For a team in the regular season has had no difficulty scoring. They scored 62 goals in the regular season last year. Even the free scoring Arnott Gardens were properly outscored by them. Arnott had 54 goals last year in the regular season. 8 fewer than Portmore. Daly. Simpson. Stewart. Miller. Ken Wilson gets in the way.
Yep. Very good defending from the young man.
Pressure here has done well to win a corner off the boot of Roberto Johnson.
Yeah, if you were to tell a footballing person who understands the game that 2 of the best players on the field have been the defensive midfielder for Portmore, Damian Williams, and the defensive midfielder for Waterhouse, Keith Simpson, then they'd know what kind of game it is. It's a muscular game, not many thrills, not an exciting collective spectacle. Risk averse from both teams, tight.
Miller's corner. Was Leslie charging into the header and knocked over his teammate Finlayson with the effort, but it had a lot of determination on it, that Leslie effort.
Yeah, the assistant referee, a corner, that's what she's pointing to. And the Portmore players are shocked.
He went behind the goal line though. Even from that angle it seemed pretty clear. So Waterhouse gleefully taking the corner. There's Princess Brown who made the call, and she was well positioned to make it. Waterhouse with another corner. Stewart's corner is badly hit.
Yeah, going for goal there. I haven't seen enough of Kenroy Howell dribbling around that 18-yard box to attract the kind of tackles that would present opportunities for Tremaine Stewart from free kick land. So he too has been disappointing. A player who blows hot and cold. When he's on song, he's almost unplayable, slippery as an eel. Lovely change of pace, can make defenders look stupid. But oftentimes he runs around with not much impact, like tonight so far.
Yeah, towards the back end of the regular season, he had lost his starting position and played a super sub role in quite a few of those Waterhouse games that we had done. of which there were many. Williams, Lewis, Ricketts. Morris stopped by Thomas. Some of the most influential players on the field have not had that much influence on the game so far tonight, including this man with the strike, Ricardo Morris. Portmore, the defending champions, have taken the lead. The left footer from the 26-year-old, unstoppable. Champions are in charge.
Well, I've said many times that this man is Portmore United's best player. You may have wondered why. That is why any man who says Portmore United, Ricardo Morris, is the best player for Portmore, that is why. Twice in the first half, he threatened from similar range with similar kind of efforts. This is a 1-2 he plays with Rousseau, takes it back, and look at that for a finish. Like a laser in his precision. Hit with tremendous power, and nothing Diego Horton could do about that. He saw it, he felt the breeze as it rushed past his outstretched glove. That's a moment of genius from an outstanding attacker who had been quiet up to that point. But oh my, did he shout just now.
George, in the sequence of commentary, I was just mentioning impact players who haven't really impacted the game tonight. I was about to mention Ricardo Morris and Tremaine Stewart. And before I could finish the sentence, he unleashes that. How good was that strike? And the assist from Emilio Rousseau, the 19-year-old, who also assisted on Javon East's goal last week.
And an uncomplicated assist, Lance. Just knew what Ricardo Morris wanted when he laid the ball off to him originally, and then just played it back into the path at a pace.
Howell, what a strike from Howell! Brilliant save by Paul! The game has come alive! Howell, who we've just said hasn't really shown his qualities tonight, comes up with what he hoped was a response. And Paul, let's see if that was going on goal.
Yes, it was.
It may have.
That was heading in.
That was heading in. Brilliant save by Paul. Flying to his left. What a game we have on our hands. That was going into the goal for sure. So Waterhouse are now forced into action.
Yeah, the pace will step up from here because now Waterhouse will have to change gears. And Portmore can pick them off on the counter-attack. Wow. One goal, a brilliant goal, and suddenly looks as if we have a final on our hands.
So Paul hurt after that tremendous save with Kenroy Howell responding with scorching right-footed strike. Brings out the best in the in-form Paul. So Waterhouse now, with half an hour remaining in the game, now find themselves with their backs against the wall. Morris trying to get by Daly. Morris goes for goal from distance. Saw the goalkeeper Horton off his line and went for the enterprising strike.
It was on, Lance. It was on, but just not properly executed. But that finish was on and may have rushed it a little bit, Ricardo Morris, being egged on by the crowd here inside the National Stadium.
I think there was also an option for him to take the ball, because he has so much dribbling speed. Ball just gets away from Leslie. Appear to have misjudged the flight of the ball. At the risk of sounding as if I'm a cricket commentator.
Wow. Twice in the first half, Morris had shots from distance, and we warned the Waterhouse. Well, we said, they can't hear us, we said that you don't want to have that player shooting unchallenged from range. He's not going to miss often. And that was, wow. It had bend, it had fizz.
The goalkeeper saw the shape of it, but could do nothing really. Diego Horton.
So 1 or 2 changes to the starting roster tonight for Portmore from their Mount Pleasant second leg semi-final last week. Here's Rousseau. Finds East. East gets there, but a brilliant stop by Horton.
Excellent goalkeeping. That first touch from Javon East, uncharacteristically heavy. Rousseau's pass was well measured, took the defender out. And East, that first touch, almost as if it caught his studs and ran away from him, giving the goalkeeper the chance. But that was also brilliant from Diego Horton and Brave.
There's the VIP box. Sports Minister Olivia Babsey-Grange, JFF President Michael Ricketts, and there's to the left of the screen GOA President Christopher Samuda. East's first touch, they're not as good as it needed to be. And the ball just close enough to the goalkeeper Horton for him to make the stop. McFarlane knocked over by Harriet.
Yeah, Ricardo Thomas and Denardo Thomas, well, beg your pardon, Rafiq Thomas and Denardo Thomas going through their warm-up routine for Waterhouse. So pretty soon Marcel Gale will send for one of those reinforcements, or even both of them.
Well, Simpson hurt himself there. And there's Howell.
Oh, referee, that's a foul.
Knocked over by Williams. That's East, there is some pain now, struck in the face, and Laws is furious with referee Hamilton.
Yeah. And they're also furious with the assistant referee, the Portmore boys, because they felt that East was struck in the face. But the Waterhouse men are contending that there was a foul on Howell in the build-up at the point which the ball was lost. This is Miller and Laws going to confront East. And what happens here? Ooh, is that a punch? Looks to me as if it was.
Yeah.
Was that Finlayson? Yeah, it was Finlayson who was confronting him. And Odette Hamilton is now having strong words with Diego Horton.
Horton is upset. Well, Waterhouse are understandably flustered at the moment. The last thing they want to do tonight is to lose to Portmore again.
Daly's on a card. Daly's on a card, you know. He needs to tread very carefully. Williams struck in the face. He says he was struck in the face. Can we see our own VAR? Oh my, a yellow card is being produced. And who's going to get it? If it's Kamara Daly, he's gone. If Kamara Daly gets this yellow card, he's gone. Who's getting this yellow card?
Simpson is pushing Kamara Daly away from the scene of the crime. It appears as if it's Williams, though.
Oh. She's waiting on him to get up. All right.
It's the Portmore man who's going to get it. So let's see exactly what happened here.
Ball runs away from Daly. He's shielding. Eases him off. Eases him off again. And he gets a yellow card for what?
No, I don't think that's a yellow card. He was just trying to protect himself from the flailing arms.
He did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Odette Hamilton got that one wrong.
Yeah. Midway the second half, and it's Portmore on a Ricardo Morris left-footed strike, having one hand on the red stripe Premier League title. It should be their seventh. Already record holders at 6 titles. There's Tivoli Gardens, Barnet, and Santos, who all have 5. Ricketts does really well there. Near the pace of the ball. Just ensured that it was going behind.
Imagine we were talking about how the game was a stalemate with the defenders, the star of the show, and then up popped Ricardo Morris. Reminds me of the goal that Marvin Morgan scored to beat Portmore in the final for 100 runs a few seasons ago. In that same goal, it was a tremendous rasping drive with the right foot. That was a sweet, sweet curler with the left.
Comfort by him, really, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
Malik Foster had given Portmore the lead. Malik Anderson equalised. And then Marvin Morgan won. And it comes with remember those days of relish. It's a little striking goal, but Portmore defenders get in the way. Now here comes East, Morris, Williams. That is in fact Russo. Ricketts tries to send Lewis going. Keeper Simpson gets in the way. Kinderson. Howell under some pressure. Turns really well. Tremaine Stewart. Leslie. Under some pressure, Leslie. Daly. Howell. Surprises it right wide, Howell. Didn't really get around the ball well enough. The ball's just squeezing away from him a bit.
Substitution. Bernardo Thomas is going to come on. And I hear that it's Kemar Dada Daly who's going to be withdrawn. They're going for more pace. They're going for direct running. Because that's what Bernardo Thomas brings.
So the 31-year-old Kemar Daly, who had spent a season 5 years ago with Preston North End in England, exits the game, and the speedy Bernardo Thomas, older brother of Ricardo Thomas, now on to inject some pace in the Waterhouse attempt to rebound. Rousseau. Here comes Stewart. Onside, offside. So McFarlane, eyes lit up there when he saw the ball coming through to him. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think he did enough to get back onside or to ensure that when Tremaine Stewart sprung him, he would have been in a good area. A bit lazy from Andre McFarlane there.
Yeah, this Portmore team, a real high quality team, Portmore. They lead, and they're pressing towards the title again. Ross forcing his way forward, tumbles over from the challenge.
And when you have the quality players that Portmore had, you don't have to take risks to try to force the issue in a game. You can play circumspect, not even conservatively. You can play circumspect in a circumspect manner, knowing that you have brilliant individuals who can produce pieces of magic, as Ricardo Morris did there.
Paul wants to ensure that his defenders are alert for this free kick. Miller, good free kick. Finlayson getting close to it, but Portmore's defenders are alert. Transition play. East trying to outrun. Caught an anxious moment there as East was hovering around to get a hold of the ball. Bernardo Thomas, they were reckless there in allowing that one to squeeze over the touchline. So there's the leading coach, Siobhan Thomas, and his assistant Ricardo Gardner. And the man of the moment, Ricardo Morris.
Yeah.
Only 4 goals on the season for Ricardo Morris. Now, he had 11 goals last year.
I think it has more to do with his role than the quality of his finishing in this Portmore team. not utilized as an out-and-out winger. I like to see him play in that position because he's so dynamic. But in midfield with more responsibility, sometimes he's not as close to goal as he usually is. Of those 4 goals, lads, I can bet you that everyone was a spectacular strike because he has that about him.
Yeah, he's definitely given to the spectacular Ricardo Morris. Rosario gets there before Thomas does. Now Ricardo Thomas is there. Howell. Neat pass to Tremaine Stewart. Oh, brilliant skill from Stewart. Ball still with him. Howell under pressure. Portmore on the counter. And there goes East. Followed by Miller. No, referee says play on. And there goes Leslie. Tumbles over from the Wellington challenge. And Johnson fails to keep the ball in.
Excellent tackle from Wellington. Leslie hasn't made much of those situations. Can't do the defenders for pace. And can't outwit them either.
Ball whipped in. Tall. Easy and composed with the take. So Portmore 18 minutes away now from their 7th Premier League title. And Waterhouse, they've got work to do in those closing minutes.
So far Waterhouse boxing clever, like a very experienced pugilist, knowing his opponent can hurt him, knowing he doesn't want to take any risks lest his jaw gets tested. Oh, an arm raised by Tremaine Stewart. The crowd waiting for a yellow card, but at Hamilton not minded to produce one.
Yeah. Here's what he did. Put his hands out and struck Lewis in the face to keep him off. Referee Hamilton not looking punitively at that one. Lewis's long diagonal ball. Well taken down by Morris.
Superb. Absolutely superb.
Morris again. Wow. Horton. There's the ball slipping out of his arms. Luckily for him, he was quick in recovering.
You know, when you're an international player as Ricardo Morris is because he plays for the Reggae Boys, you need to show that on an occasion such as this. And that strike is evocative of a player who parades at a higher level or has the talent to do so and has done so. Not many of these boys have tasted senior international football for the Reggae Boys. Ricardo Morris, a fixture in the setup, and that goes show that he is. Japanese telling Sean Laws that you're talking too much. We're 1-0 ahead and you're talking, so go ahead and talk.
Lewis. Referee Hamilton is awarding a corner, I think. No, it's a throw.
Clem Price getting set to come in for Portmore Lions, number 15.
Started last week, Price did. Ahead of Ricardo Morris. Rousseau trying to slide the ball inside, but behind the goal. Here's Ricardo Thomas. What happened there? It has to be retaken.
Number 20 is coming out, Ron B. Smith. He's had a quiet game.
9 goals on the season. One of the leading scorers in the entire league, but his best round was the first round, and he won the scoring award for the round. Has not been as prolific in the later part of the season. And now loses his spot in the team. So strong running, Cleon Price is in for him.
It's no accident that his best form came when he knew he was going to start every game. As soon as Javon East came back fit, the first pick striker, and Smith didn't have the confidence of game in, game out inclusion, his productivity dropped.
So Price, the strong running former Harborview and Cavalier man. East under pressure. Finlayson. It's Price who was struck in the abdomen there by Finlayson, who tried to make a clearance. Price looks to be in some pain. In the meantime, Williams knocks Tremaine Stewart over. In the meantime, Price appears to be in a lot of pain still.
Yeah, because he's holding on to the leg. He's holding on to the leg of the goalkeeper, and some argy-bargy right here.
And Tremaine Stewart is involved. Now, remember, he's a former teammate, Tremaine Stewart, of these Portmore men, but you would know that by what's happening now. In the meantime, I think there's some concern here for Cleon Price, who was kicked pretty heavily there in the abdomen. In the chest by Finlayson. And he really looked to be struggling there, but because the play had continued and there was some tempers flaring up on the other end of the field, no attention paid to him, but luckily I think the medical staff quickly spotted what was going on and went to give some attention here to the substitute. Yeah. Who is in trouble only minutes after coming on.
And you can tell he was in trouble from the way he was holding on to the Waterhouse goalkeeper's leg for support.
Yeah, I saw the expression on his face, George. That was the first thing that told me he was in trouble. There was a sort of a scared look in his face. Because Finlayson is a big, strong defender. He went for the ball, for sure. I don't think it may have been reckless, but I don't think he deliberately went to hurt Cleon Price. But he was trying to clear the ball away and made very, very strong contact with Cleon Price's chest.
You say it may have been reckless, but the replay will confirm. It's a challenge that a centre half has to make. He has to try to reach around the body of the attacker, as you see here, and hook the ball away. Eyes for the ball, and he just missed it and kicked to Cleon Price. No malice intended, I don't think, from that replay.
Price still grimacing there. And disappointment for him just moments after coming on. And Waterhouse now needing a lift. We're 11.5 minutes from the final whistle, plus time to be added on for stoppages. A free kick here for Waterhouse from a position that Tremaine Stewart can shine.
Maybe a touch too far for him, but let's see. Portmore's big player has delivered. What can Waterhouse's big player do?
Yeah. Tall, a very outstanding goalkeeper. He's not getting the cooperation from his players in the wall because he's screaming at them and he wants them to go to their right, but they're taking too long. Here's the Stewart effort. Paul is right there to stop it. So Portmore looking to stamp their authority on Premier League football yet again.
Yeah, it was too far. Just did enough to get it on target. But with the pace that he hit it, wasn't going to beat Shavin Sean, and then again it was straight at him. Needs those opportunities closer to the 18-yard box.
Already regular season champions Portmore with a prize money of $1 million Jamaican dollars. That's approximately US 7,900. Prize money for the Premier League title, which they are now in pole position for. 2.5 million Jamaican dollars. That's approximately 19,000 US dollars. And Price is back and in business. There goes Lewis.
Ricardo Thomas getting set well. I keep saying Ricardo. Rafiq Thomas gets ready to come in for Waterhouse Dance. So they're going to make another change. Let's see who gets the hook. So number 37, his number goes up. And the man coming off, number 27.
So Leslie's off. So Rafiq Thomas is on. And Leslie is off. Rafiq Thomas, the 34-year-old. There goes the speed of Denardo Thomas. Ricketts chasing. Brother to brother. Denardo to Ricardo. Shoved off the ball by Williams, and he's being penalized there. Confirmation there of Thomas on for Leslie. Thomas, a two-time Premier League winner with Harbourview in 2010 and 2013. The substitute in the 37 shirt, there he is. He knows what winning Premier League titles is all about, having won twice with Harbourview. Now he wants to win with Waterhouse. Jermaine Stewart. We're in the last 10 minutes of the game. Time running out on the men from Drewsland. And the former Portmore man has the free kick way on the left side. Good kick across the box, and Paul gets there. Lewis holding the play up. His pass not as good as it needed to be. Throw to Waterhouse.
Yeah, at least he didn't lose it.
I think he thinks there was a deflection of a Waterhouse player. The referee isn't agreeing, but the assistant referee, Stephanie Daly-Easing, agrees.
Well, from the first moment she had pointed, indicated that it was a Portmore United throw.
So the anxiety now evident in the Waterhouse team, because they see for the second year in a row the prospect of a defeat to Portmore in a Premier League final.
Remember, Lance, in the preview moments, well, a few hours ago, Donovan Duckett, the Mount Pleasant coach, former Waterhouse coach who took them to the final last year, said that Portmore United, if they score once, they'll win. He said for Waterhouse to win, they will have to score twice.
Yeah, I think he actually stuck his neck out and suggested that Portmore will score.
Yeah.
But at Waterhouse, if they need to win, they will have to score more than Portmore did.
Well, he did say 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some concern there that some objects were thrown onto the field. So the security now will want to have a look at what happens there, as Ricardo Bibi Gardner has a stern and urgent word there with Cleon Price. Gardner, of course, started off the season as the Harbourview coach, resigned as the Harbourview coach in mid-November, and is now with Portmore as the assistant.
Break and play.
Yeah, there are the objects. Apparently thrown from the bleachers end of the stands.
4 policemen jogging across to the bleachers. An officer among the policemen. In Jamaica, they think that all policemen are officers, not so.
So the game held up temporarily as the security men tried to sort out the issue of some missiles thrown onto the field.
And the selector trumps for Bob Marley's One Love Lands, trying to calm tensions as the crowd shifts around in the bleachers, no doubt trying to get away from where the issue is, and more missiles raining down. This is not good.
A policeman struck here. Yeah, no, this isn't good at all. So even some of the fans are now being threatened by those missiles being thrown. They're moving from the lower ends of the stands.
Yeah, well, they're actually going through the exit just below the National Stadium sign at the northernmost point in the stadium. They're leaving through that exit. And how did it get to this? It's a mystery to us.
It's Marcel Gale. He appears as if he's I think he wants to get to the fans there in the bleachers. And some of the fans now, they don't want to risk injury, so they're actually leaving.
Yeah.
Not too sure what Fuzzy Gale is trying to have done here. Yeah, but this is very disappointing. Poor crowd behavior, stalling the game with missiles thrown onto the field. And even the police officers, a few of them had to retreat as they headed towards the stands to try to sort the problem out.
Yeah, a few thousand fans have already left. This is hugely disappointing on Red Stripes' big night, the RSPL's climactic event. This happens, and we can say with certainty that of the 30+ games we've done this season, Lance, this has never happened at any of those grounds. And yeah, not good.
Yeah, so Portmore celebrating. They are on the verge of victory here, but a lot of time will be added on for stoppages, because although we have 86 minutes on the clock here, there were some injury stoppages, and this particular stoppage now is running into minutes. So there will be significant time added on, and more time for Waterhouse if they have the stomach for the fight to get back.
Well, what is true is that whatever is happening in the stands will not cause the game to be abandoned at this point. So the fans who paid to get in here have been denied seeing the game run its natural course. But the referee will soon summon the players and order the restart.
Yeah, and there appears to be within the Waterhouse camp some flaring of tempers as well. Have to be between teammates, because there's no opposing player close to them. That's Ricardo Thomas, who is the most animated at this point. Not too sure what that's about, but I guess Portmore will want to relax themselves, because they are in the lead. Portmore, they only need to protect their advantage. So the Ricardo Morris strike. There's Alex Thomas, brother of Shavar Thomas, the Portmore coach. He looks happy enough. Different picture from the Waterhouse body language.
I'm trying to see what's happening in the Waterhouse camp. The argument is still raging, involving one of the reserve goalkeepers. And Keith Sims is still trying to pull them together, asking them to focus, the captain. And Marcel Gale being calmed down. I did say he was a calm man, but something has caused him to lose his rack. That's all happening here.
Wow. So not good here for Waterhouse.
Well, you know, Lance, in the time that we are off, let's talk about the football, because it will be a good time to show the fans the Ricardo Morris goal, the TV fans, to remind them of the critical moment in this game so far, as we wait for, I almost said the dust, but wait for tempers to calm here inside the National Stadium. So Morris struck in the second half to separate the teams, and if that goal goes on to win the final, it will be fitting. It will be fitting to decide the contest. In the first half, he had a couple sighters. He did have a couple sighters. This is the first half. Gets it from Lewis. Bang with the left. Went wide. Well wide in the end. We warned about that. And then this is the goal in the second half. Gets it from Emilio Rousseau and just whips it expertly. Had room to give it the full swing off the left foot. A lot of backlift in that shot. And Diego Houghton powerless as it whistled past him. That was in the 57th minute. And the game has paused for the last one. Is it 7 going on 10 minutes now, lads?
I don't think it's quite 10, but it certainly is about 7.
And how disappointing it must be for those folks from Red Stripe They've invested millions into the RSPL, season after season, and their showpiece night ruined by we don't know what. But it came from the bleachers end, and the fans are now streaming out of the bleachers onto the cycle track, no doubt to get away from that side of things. And as we told you, several thousand fans left through one of the northern exits. Cabinet ministers here, Lester Mike Henry, the MP for Central Clarendon. It just doesn't look good. A stain on what has been a good season of football for the RSPL. What had been a gripping game, engrossing game, with one tremendous goal. And yeah, it looks as if we're going to get the game restarted because the referee unit lands is back out on the pitch.
Yeah, there's some spectators though behind the goal area that I would suspect the game won't restart with them there. So the police officers are trying to ensure that they are behind and in the stands. And I'm not sure if he'll probably point to the studio tomorrow to put some lyrics together.
Oh yes, he has to be the man. So here's what you need now. You need the police and the security team here to do two things. You need the police, the security guards to form a ring around the facility, around the field, to ensure that no fan can run on in the event that happens. And then you need the police to be monitoring the exit of the fans who are leaving the bleachers and filing on to the cycle track, onto the running track, within close proximity of the players and the officials. You don't want anybody charging at anybody right now. And that's what needs to happen. But I see no sign of that kind of coordination going on.
Yeah. So I think we're still a few minutes away from a restart here, because as the law enforcers here are suggesting the area is not sterile and doesn't meet the requirements for the football match to continue or to resume. So missiles thrown onto the field area, holding play up now for, well, I think it's heading for 10 minutes now, I would say at least. And Portmore leading by 1-0 on a Ricardo Morris 57th minute strike. And already with 6 Premier League titles, 2 under the name Hazard in 1993 and 2003, and as Portmore 05, 08, 2012 and 2018. And there's Raymond Anderson, Vice President of the Jamaica Football Federation, in the black shirt, and he wants to offer some assistance as the game continues to be held up.
I'm surprised I don't see the referee's assessor out there leading the discussion about what the officials are supposed to be demanding at this point.
Yeah, this is kind of thing
so,
you don't want.
Yeah, I see the gestures of this as if he wants that cordon that I spoke of, because that's what needs to happen now. All right, so the fans have stopped filing across from the bleachers, so that, well, there's one more egress, if you may call it that has just opened, and fans are coming through. So they need to lock those gates, keep the fans in the bleachers, let no one stream onto the playing area.
Yeah, but they can exit through other tunnels.
And that's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
you don't, that gate needs to be locked, so he just locked it, all right? Yeah. So that helps. So the fans that are now standing beneath us, right on the grandstand on the 100-meter home stretch, they need to be removed. And, oh my, I hate to be this critical, Lance, but it appears to me as if there was no plan in the eventuality that something like this happened. Yeah. So, hence no plan actioned.
Yeah, the response to the problem has been inefficient.
And now beneath us, Lance, is a policeman holding on to a little boy in a very aggressive manner. A lady is trying to grab him away, and yeah, that's it on your screen now. It's all kicking off here. It's madness. He's a senior member of the force in the flat cap. Steve Brown, an officer of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, asking one of his juniors to cool it. And the little boy looks as if he gets away.
So what are they doing on the field anyway?
Well, they were let out by the security guard from the bleachers, and they walked around, and something happened. And they're trying to cool that down. What a disappointment.
So Odette Hamilton, the referee in charge on the night, looks as if she's preparing herself for a restart. But she's got to get the green light from the match commissary and the law enforcers on the ground. So a lot of time lost here. So when the game restarts, even though we're seeing 96 minutes on the clock here, we could well see more than 10 minutes added on. We will see more than 10 minutes added on. So we're past full time. And the popular Waterhouse supporter is actually on the field with his flag. His fire helmet's actually off at the moment. He's taking some magic spray on the right leg. Leading scorer, so the Golden Boot Award up for grabs still, because Colorado Murray, Javon East and Tremaine Stewart all have 12 goals, top of the scoring table. And the way things are looking at the moment, they may have to share it.
I wonder what's a tiebreaker. Now there's something kicking off in the grandstand to our left. I can't see because the fans have gotten up. We need to get some help with that. But wow. In
the meantime, there's a change that's got to be made for the Waterhouse team, it seems. Or is it the Portmore team?
No, number 7 Stephen Williams is coming on, and number Andre McFarlane is coming out. So I understand someone collapsed in the grandstand, Lance, got injured, and that is what is causing the fans to show interest to that side of the facility. But yeah, we're back on live action.
Yeah, confirmation of Williams on for McFarlane. So Waterhouse making a change in the interim, and we understand that 16 minutes are being added on. Waterhouse on the attack. Price. Johnson with the clearance on for Portmore. So we heard an additional 16 minutes.
Wow.
What was the time added on? So that would be 16 added to the 90. The header on. Denardo Thomas trying to get there, but the Portmore defenders are getting the ball away. There goes Price. Morris. Price with a daring dribble. Mark Miller gets in the way. Miller thinks he was fouled. Price thinks he was fouled by Miller.
Nah, well, the only way Miller could have gotten out of the way was as if he disintegrated. The referee realized that Price just charged right into him, trying to draw the foul, almost in basketball.
Howell over dribbles. Keithy Simpson. Miller.
Just a clarification, Lance. I think the fourth official has indicated 12 minutes of time added on.
12 minutes. It's Rafid Thomas charging forward, trying to put his boot onto that ball to keep the play alive, but he succeeded only in kicking Andre Lewis over. Thomas a little reckless there because the ball had already gone. It just clatters into Andre Lewis. And he gets the yellow card, Rafid Thomas. So, going to Waterhouse, heading for another Premier League disappointment here. Trailing 1-0. Into time added on for significant stoppages.
The thing is, people who watch a lot of European football, especially football from England, often see lines of stewards sitting inside the stands, often dividing rival supporters or dividing sections of home supporters.
Thomas. Thomas with a right-footed effort. Weak. Just wide of the near post.
Yeah, almost dragged his right foot forward, side foot. Not great contact. Needed to drive the laces through that, but wasn't in a position to make that kind of contact. It came to him awkwardly. He was under pressure and couldn't do much. I was saying that the security personnel are normally in the stands to quell any disturbance as quickly as possible, so it doesn't spark the kind of mayhem that we saw in the bleachers, which led to the game being delayed for over 10 minutes. Which has caused so many people to have to leave the stadium fearing for their safety. It's not good enough from a security perspective, I must admit. Not good enough at all.
Change here with Morris, the hero for Portmore, stepping off. And Roisin Sharp, who scored in the first leg semi-final against Mount Pleasant. The go-ahead goal. 1-1. Here comes Rafid Thomas, two-time Premier League winner with Harbour View. His effort is high. Out here on Waterhouse, they're heading, Waterhouse for their third Red Stripe Premier League final loss in 6 seasons.
Didn't have many passing options as he raced forward. Had a little glance to his right and decided that the only option was to go for goal.
Yeah, just got onto the ball a little bit too much. Paul, the goalkeeper, is a little upset that his defenders allowed the 34-year-old so much comfort in the box. Waterhouse lost the 2015 final 5-2 to Montego Bay United. They lost last year on penalties to Portmore. And I said if they lose here now, that will be 3 finals in 6 seasons that they would have lost to Waterhouse. And it seems as if Morris may have aggravated that hamstring injury that kept him out of the first semi-final against Mount Pleasant. Yeah, those hammies sometimes take a little time to fully heal.
And he has CFU Club Championship duties not so long from now. So they have to keep him fit and fresh.
Wellington appears to be complaining that he was struck in the face. Looks for some sympathy from the assistant referee. Waterhouse with an opportunity here. And their players in their light blue and yellow shirts are filling up the Portmore box, looking for an equalizer and a lifeline. But Miller's delivery not as good as it needed to be. Williams does well to keep the ball in. Miller's cross. The header wide from Finlayson. So 17 years of Premier League football for this man, Nikolai Finlayson. About half of them for Reno, the other half for Waterhouse. And he's yet to win a Premier League final. All three of these finals I would have mentioned he has played in. The 2014 loss to Montego Bay, last season's loss to Portmore. And if they don't score in the next few minutes here, this would be another Waterhouse defeat in a Premier League final. East on the left. Tries to get Rousseau going, but too much weight on the pass. Throw to Waterhouse. Fairly deep inside their own half. Waterhouse needing some urgency here because the time is getting away. Miller.
He's a good cross. He's a good cross.
Denardo Thomas there waiting on the far post, but Asani Ricketts gets there first. Throw to Waterhouse. Very, very deep inside the Portmore half.
Just need that moment of inspiration, Waterhouse. It's been eluding them all night. Oh my.
Keith Simpson putting the chase on, but Javon East goes forward. Has three Waterhouse men to contend with and can't beat them. Simpson. Chested down by Williams, but doesn't find the target, which was Howell. And Portmore now in transition. Lewis. White to Roshane Sharp. Sharp trying to get by Ricardo Thomas. Gets the cross inside, but there's no one there. And Waterhouse efforts now looking feeble as we close in on full time.
Yeah, I suspected this would have happened. Oh my, oh my, oh well, my. Several punches being thrown here between Damian Williams and Rafiq Thomas. Red cards are both of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
This is disgraceful.
I don't know what sparked that, but certainly Rafiq Thomas lost it and repeatedly punched Damian Williams, who retaliated, and the red cards are going to come out for them both.
Oh wow. My.
Look at his shirt.
This is all kicking off. And now the Waterhouse assistant goalkeeper is on the field being held back by his teammates.
Red card to Rafiq Thomas. And a red card is going to go as well for Williams. No doubt about it.
Look at that swelling above his left eye. Wow. Oh my. Oh my.
Oh, that was very, very ugly. Very, very ugly. And he has a laceration on the lip as well. There is spitting blood and his swelling over the left eye. Oh, that was a boxing match that we just saw. Rafiq Thomas is now off. The experienced 34-year-old loses it here on an apparent losing night for Waterhouse. Not sure how they can recover from this. There can't be much time left. It's 12 minutes added on, but there's still more time. And the ice back here on Damien Williams. So disappointing that these two veterans of the game, the 38-year-old Williams here and Rafiq Thomas, 34 years old, the oldest players on the field, losing it.
So the rancor from the stands spilling onto the pitch. I was just about to say to you, Lance, that I wouldn't be surprised if at the final whistle there was a punch-up among certain players, and the fight preempted my comment.
Keith Simpson trying to get Miller to calm down. And it's been a tough night for referee Odette Hamilton.
How did a night which began so very well? Third place playoff, no problem. Final, first half, no problem. Starts in the second half, no problem. Then all of a sudden, it just breaks down.
I know there were some calls that a couple of the Waterhouse players may have been upset about by Hamilton. But I'm at a loss as to why the spectators were so infuriated that missiles would come onto the field from them.
But no, there was no call made for Waterhouse that wasn't made for Portmore, or against one team that wasn't for the other. She made calls against both teams, and most of the times we saw the replays, she got them right.
So no team wants to win a title like this, so you see the expression on Shavar Thomas's face. They are on the verge of a record-extending 7th Premier League title, Portmore. But the facial expressions aren't saying that.
Yeah, they're telling Rafiq Thomas that he can't stay on the bench, and everybody knows that if you get sent off, you have to leave the arena. Go watch it from the stands or the dressing room or somewhere, but you can't stay on the bench. And he's taking his own sweet time to leave, Rafiq Thomas. There he is, being escorted by JFF Vice President Raymond Anderson.
Yeah. So on his entry to the field, I spoke about his experience and his twice celebration as a champion in the Red Stripe Premier League with Harbourview. But all of that now turned sour. Two red cards here towards the end of the game, and the whistle from Odette Hamilton formalizes Portmore as champions for the second year in a row and for the 7th time in their history. The winningest team in the history of Red Stripe Premier League football now extends their record even further. Waterhouse beaten on a night that turned ugly from the stands. Missiles thrown onto the field, and then an outright fist fight on the field between Damien Williams of Portmore and Rafiq Thomas of Waterhouse. And Waterhouse, for the second time in a row, beaten by Portmore in the Red Stripe Premier League final. And for the third time in 6 years, Waterhouse are beaten in a Red Stripe Premier League final. Portmore, 4th consecutive appearance in the Red Stripe Premier League final. Back-to-back winners, regular season champions, complemented by the championship trophy. And despair for Waterhouse as they've gone close again, but not close enough. Portmore celebrating another triumph. Outnumbered in the stands here, Portmore, by the Waterhouse fans. But it's they, in the end, that are happy with the result. Ricardo Morris with a scorching left-footed strike on an Emilio Rosso assist gives Portmore the 1-0 victory over Waterhouse in the Red Stripe Premier League final 2018-2019. We'll be back with the highlights and the post-game show after this short break.
One bag of gold medal pan me, Red Stripe Stripe alone champion boy go. Man up for them a singing and tender. Red Stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man shall I let forward boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boys boy. Every boy when I run from boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run him all again boy. The Red Stripe Premier League champion boy. Yeah, yeah.
Red Stripe Premier League final ends in triumph for Portmore United, 1-0 over Waterhouse on a Ricardo Morris strike in the 57th minute. And a game highlighted by that strike, but also highlighted by ugly scenes of missiles being thrown by the stands and an open fist fight on the field that resulted in red cards to Damian Williams and Rafiq Thomas. Let's go to those highlights now. Referee Elliot Hamilton, the captains greet Keith Simpson, and the cross inside. Waterhouse looking to push forward early. Big Sean Laws tries to get in there, but he's knocked over by a couple of Portmore men. Ricardo Thomas breaks free on the left here, but he over dribbles the ball, loses control, and the ball goes behind the touchline. He's unable to keep that one in, but some early good play there by Waterhouse. Portmore responding here with Javon East blocked by Kenroy Howell. The second attempt blocked again, this time by Big Sean Laws. Waterhouse defenders frantic here. Neat build up here by Waterhouse. Ricardo Thomas to Daly. Thomas, look at this neat back heel now from Andre McFarlane. The ball just runs off the boot of Ricardo Thomas, and the Waterhouse opportunity disappears into the arms of goalkeeper Thomas. Ricardo Morris with a driving left-footed strike from outside the distance. A lot of power, but off target. And here's Morris. He wants the ball back and gets it from Rousseau. And Morris with his 4th goal of the season. This would be the winner. Perfect left-footed strike. Diego Houghton diving full strength, full length, but he can't get to that. And Ricardo Morris celebrates what would have been the game winner. Waterhouse not giving up here. Howell, this is just a couple of minutes after the Morris goal, brings out a fantastic save from Paul in the Portmore goal. Morris goes wide here to Rousseau. Rousseau tries to find Javon Easton does, but East's first touch isn't good enough. And the ball squirts a little too far in front of him, allows Diego Houghton the opportunity to come through to make the save. Referee Elliot Hamilton had a really tough night tonight. And this one ending in victory for Portmore. A game that had a stoppage for over 10 minutes because of crowd trouble. Portmore 1-0 over Waterhouse. 7 attempts on goal by Portmore, 5 of those on target. Waterhouse had 6 attempts on goal, just 2 on targets. There were 18 fouls in the match, most of them committed by Waterhouse players. 5 yellow cards, 3 to Waterhouse, a red card each for Damian Williams for Portmore and Rafiq Thomas for Waterhouse. 8 corners in the match, 5 of them for Waterhouse. Portmore had more time on the ball, 52% possession over Waterhouse. But for the second year in a row, Portmore have beaten Waterhouse in a red stripe Premier League final. And George Davis is with our man of the match, Ricardo Morris.
Thank you very much, Lance. So I'm here with Ricardo Morris and 2 young members of the Morris clan. This trophy, sir, is for you. You want to take it? All right, that's your father's trophy. Hold it up. Ricardo, tell me about the game. You lit up the game with a brilliant strike, but then the whole spectacle got spoiled in the end.
That goal get the spectators vexed, but we're glad for it and glad for the win.
It's been a very good season for you as an individual and as a club. You repeated beating Waterhouse again. I'm sure you'd have preferred if the game ended under better circumstances, but I'm sure you're happy for the win. You'll take it however it comes.
Yeah, we're happy. Waterhouse have to welcome to the party because we go to final and lose back-to-back. Now it's their turn, so they have to try again next season.
In the build-up to the game, were the boys positive? Did you know that you had the measure of this Waterhouse team, that you were better than them?
Yeah, we want it because we want to create history. Everyone want to go in the history book, so we want it more.
All right, then you have a big assignment coming up, CFU Club Championship. This win will give you wind beneath your sails to attack that competition with confidence.
Yeah, for sure. But we will be playing back Waterhouse again, so you know that go.
All the best, Ricardo.
Thank you.
Ricardo Morris and his two of his two children. I don't know how many he has, but his two children there with him, two daughters. Ricardo Morris celebrating. So Lance, I'm being joined now by the captain of Portmore United. Captain, first thing, congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Alan.
It was a game we thought that was intense without being exciting, but was it that, did you feel at any point in the game that you were under pressure from this Waterhouse team?
No, not really. No, not really.
And so, based on what you prepared to do in the weeks leading up to today's game, did that materialize? Did the game play out the way you expected it to?
Sure. From the start of the season, the coach told us that he wants us to dominate, and that is what we've been doing throughout the season, and that is what we come here and did.
It was a moment of magic from Ricardo Morris to win the game, to settle the game for you. It was a brilliant strike, a strike that resembles what Portmore United have been about all season, efficiency and moments of brilliance when needed.
Yes, sure, of course, because Ricardo Morris is a great kicker off the ball, and that is what he practices every day in training.
And you won the regular season. You've now won everything, proving that you're the best in the country once again.
Yes, you're the best.
Well, all right, congratulations. You know you have the CFU Club Championship coming up, and we wish you all the best.
Okay, thanks a lot.
There you go. So there you heard from the goal scorer, the match winner for Portmore United, and the captain as well, Lance.
Hi, Chevin. How are you? It is me, your friend from last season,
Hello,
the
Margaret.
Red Stripe Premier League Trophy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and how are you?
Well, you know, I'm just here wondering who's going to touch me again.
It's most definitely going to be me.
Well, you have a huge role to play in that. Are you ready to stop all the possible goals that could be coming towards you?
I'll do whatever it takes to have my hands on you again.
And how did that feel?
It was so overwhelming. Bring warmness to my heart.
Can you describe that night?
Oh, sure I can. It was that moment when I had my eyes on you. And then I was so determined to ensure that I'd keep you for myself, to take you home. So I had to put in all the hard work just to ensure that that was possible.
You know what? You can touch me now. Go ahead.
Sure.
What does that feel like?
It feels so good.
Do you like how I feel?
I definitely do.
Well, you have what it takes. Just go out there and do what you gotta do. If you want me to remain in your camp,
I'll definitely do that.
all the best.
He has now won the right to lift the Premier League trophy. The coach steps into the shop with me, it's a shop, it's the winner's shop. Shafar, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It was a hard-fought affair. It fell apart at the end, not much through your doing, although there was an incident that caused two players to be ejected, one from either side. But tell me, how do you see the game from where you stood?
It was an even game in the first half, but in terms of the chances, we weren't getting clear-cut chances. You know, we were keeping them pretty quiet. But we came here to enforce our will, bossing the game, keeping possession, and that's not Waterhouse style. So it forced them to start thinking, and it was important we kept that momentum going into the second half, and that's what brought us the goal. You know, we keep possession, lure them to sleep until we see the opening and the right time, and it was the right time, and it was a very good job.
Brilliant goal to win the game for you.
Most definitely, it was a brilliant goal.
Yeah, and so you neutralized Waterhouse, as you said, and based on what they threw at you, it was nothing you didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, we practice and we train every eventuality, you know, everything they could have thrown at us. And so said, so done. What we have trained, everything they thrown at us, we nullify.
This win is sweet. It's most recent. Is it sweeter than last year?
I would take this one more because there's a lot of work that we put in. We made a lot of changes, and these guys, they still kept hungry, and it's not easy to keeping somebody hungry when they already won last season. They already been to 4 finals. People can get bored pretty easy, and these guys, they kept their focus and they sustained it.
You're a back-to-back champion, Shavar. Congratulations and all the best for the club championship.
Thank you very much. You know, it's a lot of work put in from you know, people behind us in terms of our support staff, directors, you know, sponsors, Honey Bun, you know, Spry Fitness, you know, Portmore, New Testament, our church. You know, we love them because when we're there, it's like we're at home, you know. And it's a lot of work, not just the players, not just our coaching staff, our technical staff, but it's a lot of work.
All right, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Shavar Thomas there, the victorious coach, and he is a 2-time champion of the Red Stripe Premier League. Donald and Lance, are they standing by?
The presentation ceremony has begun on the pitch. But really, I have to admit that this is probably one of the darker days in Jamaica's football, and we can't avoid it, can we? Despite the fact that Portmore United will be ecstatic with the fact that they've won yet another Premier League title, the circumstances around that win, dire.
Yeah, that's for sure. Obviously, the Ricardo Morris strike was one of the highlights of the night because it was such a clinically taken goal. But the stoppage because of missiles being thrown on the field and the open fist fight between Damian Williams and Rafiq Thomas that resulted in both of them getting red cards would have to go down as 2 of the more memorable moments on the negative side about what this final represented.
You did speak about that Ricardo Morris goal. It was a peach, a typical left-footed effort from outside the box. Fitting to win a final today.
Yeah, and the assist by Emilio Rousseau. You did a lot of the Manning Cup schoolboy football competitions, and you saw the quality of this 19-year-old, and he has stepped up in this Portmore team here and quietly made an impact because he assisted on the Javon East goal in one of the semi-final playoffs. The second one, I think it was, and then he was up again tonight to assist that goal by Ricardo Morris. An uncomplicated strike. It was just a quiet, short lateral pass, but it was perfectly weighted, and it set Ricardo Morris up with a fine strike. Colorado Murray, Javon East, and Tremaine Stewart all ending the season with 12 goals. So the golden boot honor.
So one will get a lace, and the other, the rest of the shoe.
And a couple of studs.
And a couple of spikes.
Yeah, so there's the Tivoli man. He had no opportunities after the regular season to increase on his 12 goals or to improve on his 12 goals because of Tivoli's exit from the championship. But Javon East and Tremaine Stewart both involved in the playoffs, and it was during the playoffs that they moved up to join Colorado on 12 goals because Colorado had ended the regular season as the top goal scorer.
And of course, Alex Marshall could have easily joined them with an extra goal tonight, and he could have surpassed them with a hat-trick tonight in the third place playoff. But that would have been interesting if it was a 4-way tie at the top of the goal-scoring charts.
Presentation still in effect here, and there are the Portmore men celebrating and happy at back-to-back titles. An MVP honor now to be given to Tremaine Stewart, we're told. So remarkable that a team contests 4 consecutive Premier League titles. Portmore has done it, and there's Tremaine Stewart, MVP for the season, and he collects his award, and he has deserved it for sure.
Tremaine Stewart also, he has come a very far away from his Eltham days, another standout star at the schoolboy football level, and showed his quality this season, and really no surprise that he has won the MVP for the season.
For 2018-2019 goes to Cavalier
Anthony Boras, player personality of the season, we're told. And several awards still to come. And pictures being taken there. Cleon Price and Rondi Smith, who had 12 goals. So a night that has had its downsides for sure. But in the presentation ceremony here, some smiles to offset some ugly scenes here tonight in the Red Stripe Premier League final. Jamoy Topi gets an award, not here, now in the USL Pro League with the Bethlehem Steel. But a Cavalier representative picking up his award. Young player of the championship, I think.
MVP of the season is from Waterhouse, Mr. Tremaine Stewart, the most valuable player. So Mr. Stewart making his way forward.
We thought Tremaine Stewart just picked up the Player of the Season award.
A bit of deja vu here.
I think the previous one we saw was the Golden Boot honor, which he shared with Colorado Murray and Javon East. And now, apparently, this is the MVP season award for Tremaine Stewart. So I guess his hard work for the season hasn't gone completely in vain. Although the big prize, the Premier League title, which he was so desirous of getting, he reminded me earlier on that in the 2016 final on his birthday, playing for Portmore, he had lost to Montego Bay United by 2-1. And 2 days before his birthday, he turns 31 on Wednesday. He loses another Premier League final.
This award will be presented.
So that would be a disappointment for Tremaine Stewart for sure, because he had one Premier League title with Portmore back in 2012, and they have won 2 after that without him during the 2 years that he had gone to Waterhouse. Sean Laws, a big Waterhouse central defender, about to receive an award here from Clyde Giordini.
So Mr. Sean Laws
of the Harbourview Football Club,
the player personality of the season.
Yeah, so he had a good campaign, Sean Laws.
He stepped forward to receive.
Didn't do much wrong in this final that Waterhouse ended up losing, and he was missing for a spell, Lance, with a few injuries. Didn't start the season with the team. And of course, you mentioned the fact that he got married in December. He got hitched and took a little bit of time off also. But over the course of the games that he was present in, he was a really solid performer at the back for Waterhouse and a deserved winner of the Tony Burrows Player Personality Award.
How much time off did he get, George?
How much time off did he take?
Is the 2018-2019 Red Stripe Premier League Coach of the Year, to be presented by Miss
Coach of the Year. 2 nominees, Thomas and Gail.
Yeah.
Mr. Shavar Thomas of Portmore.
No surprise with the results.
My only criticism of Shavar Thomas, Lance, and Donald, is that for occasions like these, he needed to have worn a pair of trousers.
But he was similarly attired last year when they won.
But good shot nonetheless. I'll forgive him for that.
Second year in a row that he has been Coach of the Year, Shavar Thomas. And as he said, he leaves to take up an assignment in the Turks and Caicos Islands pretty soon. So this is his last year as head coach at Portmore. Ricardo Bibi Gardner is scheduled to take over as head coach next year of the Premier League champions. There
no
he is.
pressure.
We have the head of marketing for Red Stripe.
You know, I can't get over the fact of how this night ended. This night showed us things that we thought had dissociated themselves or itself from local football, and to have everything raining down all in one on poor old Red Stripe and every stakeholder in this final was an absolute shambles. There's stronger terminology I could use, but I won't. My gosh, it was a disappointing end. Real bitter taste rather to the end of the final. What was a very good day and spoiled by, whoa, what can I say? Let me end it there.
Well, I wouldn't even go as far as say it was a very good day. Did you see the third place playoff?
No. It was a very good day in terms of decorum, in terms of discipline. There's bonhomie in the stands. People were happy, drinking beer, watching the football. The football wasn't electrifying, but at least people felt safe, and there were games to focus on. The final was engrossing before the incidents which caused the problems, and no football game should have attended up on it the incidents, the scenes which marred this final and this occasion.
Yeah, the point has to be made, as you said, George, that you just didn't see it coming, because the night was a good night. It was a good night, and the fans were intrigued and captivated by what was happening on the field, because there were points of the final that looked like a chess match. No team wanted to risk too much. No team wanted to make errors, and it was a closely fought affair. So when the missiles started coming onto the field, it was, it was just something out of left field.
Usually when you have affairs that are classified as drab, it's because passes are misplaced, players are miscontrolling, and you're wondering if these guys really are professionals. What we were seeing was a struggle between two very good teams, two very well-coached teams, and two teams that had prepared extensively to nullify the other team's strengths. That's what we were seeing. The deadlock broken by a world-class strike. Let's not downplay what Ricardo Morris did. That was a strike befitting of any of the grand theaters, the grand cathedrals in off-world football, and then to have it dissipate all away. People remember this night for what happened to mar the game rather than how Morris lifted Portmore to yet another Premier League crown.
And that's unfortunate, because the goal and the moment deserve so much more, as we see Waterhouse collecting their silver medals.
A word for Waterhouse and their season, though. They end the season in disappointment for sure. But I would suggest that at the start of the season in September, having lost the quality offensive players that they lost to Mount Pleasant, there was hardly a fan who would have predicted that Waterhouse would have been playing in the final tonight. And they had a steady season, a good consistent season, but they were up against a team, Portmore, that is so organized, so professional in their output, that it's a difficult team to beat, Portmore.
Again, I praise excessively the work of Marcel Gale and his coaching staff, while also noting that he inherited a good crop of players, the core of this Waterhouse team from Donovan Ducky's intervention last season. He left a strong unit. He left a platform. He left a platform that he himself did not benefit from when he took charge of struggling Waterhouse last season when they were closer to relegation. Yes. And so Marcel Gale built on that, changed a few things or a lot of things, and brought them to the final. It's commendable what Gale and his team have done. It's a pity that Waterhouse just couldn't find that inspiration tonight, Donald.
We kind of hope that whatever rift there is in the camp, because we saw some elements there at the end where a couple of the players didn't seem as if they got along. Probably it was the heat of battle. But Marcel Gale, you would think that he has a lot of work to do in the off-season as they prepare for the new season come September. But they will be disappointed tonight for losing this final, for finishing second in the league.
You know, this Red Stripe Premier League is tough. Don't believe that you reach the final, you can console yourself with the words that, oh, I'll get another chance. We spoke, Lance, at the top of the broadcast about how long Nikolai Finlayson has been playing in this league, playing at a high level. He has not lifted a championship yet, and he's been going, what, 16 seasons, 15 campaigns?
17
there you
years.
go, 17 campaigns in the Premier League, has not been a champion yet. Back-to-back final defeats for Nikolai Finlayson. If you don't take your moment, that moment may never come again. It's just the nature of the beast that is competitive football in any country.
Yeah, and if you look at Finlayson, I think he's certainly one. There may be another or two, but that actually played in 3 of these finals that Waterhouse have lost in the last 6 years.
In fact, yes, I remember him from the 5-2 bloodbath at the hands of Montego Bay United here. I was a spectator then, astonished by how Owen Gordon and Dina Williams and Jermaine Woolsoncroft ran the show for Montego Bay United as the Waterhouse boys give a final cheer to their fans as they walk off. Dejected, no doubt. They put a lot into the season. And look, let's be fair and call a spade a spade. They are one of the reasons why so many fans were interested in the RSPL, Lance. Donald mentioned the fact that not many people backed them to do anything special this season. But the way they played brought their fans into it and brought neutrals into it. They added to the quality spectacle that we've seen over the intervening months. It's just a pity that they didn't have it tonight. But they were beaten by a better team and by the team that on the balance of quality shown over the course of the campaign, gentlemen, deserved to be wearing the gold medals tonight.
Head of marketing of Red Stripe.
Yeah, Portmore, a team that, based on their output for now 4 consecutive seasons in getting to the final, you have to accord them the label as the best team in the country. And it's not often that teams are able to repeat as champions. You know, Reno did it back in 1991. Arnett Gardens did it as well.
Yes.
And now Portmore are able to achieve it, but it's not easy to repeat as Premier League champions in Jamaica. And as I said, 4 years in a row they've contested the final, and twice in that 4 years they have been champions. Tivoli also had 4 consecutive runs in the final: 08, 09, 2010, and 2011. They also had 2 titles in the 4 years consecutively that they reached the final. But Portmore covering themselves in glory here tonight with another victory that they've worked hard for and been rewarded really for a club that has organization and professionalism as 2 of its tenets.
Yeah, and they've set the example that others like Mount Pleasant have followed so well, and even added to. When a club has a strong structure, then it will always be competitive, which is why Portmore's relegation, Donald, not so long ago, was a surprise to all, not to many, to all. Nobody. If you, Donald, Oliver, wherever you were in the world, were told that Portmore were relegated from Jamaica's top flight, you'd have been thinking that someone was playing a prank on you.
It would have been a shock, actually. But it wasn't a surprise that they came back the very next year.
Yep. And was in the final the very next year. There you go.
Huge smile there from Romain Brackenridge, who is now a part of the Portmore setup, having played for Tivoli Gardens, which he was captain at for several seasons. No playing time here in the final, but he looks very happy to be a part of a winning unit for the first time in his Premier League career.
Yes, and he would not be satisfied to have made the move. Look at Roshane Sharp, came into the league with Jamalco, has moved around a bit, and now he's a champion.
He also spent some time at Reno, Roshane Sharp. But there's the man of the moment, man of the match for the night, Ricardo Morris, the Costa Cup winner with St. James High.
Back in 2008 it was.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, if we are to be fair, look, if you look at the Portmore and Waterhouse team to a man, these players look like footballers committed to their craft in terms of the shape that they're in. There are some teams in this RSPL, some guys with some huge bellies, overweight guys who look like they are chefs, pastry chefs, who are doing a lot of tasting of the things that they're producing. These 2 teams look as if they have footballers within their ranks, and it's to their credit that they are here, contesting the gold medal match, and Portmore coming out on top. It's a message to the other teams in the country, to the other teams in the top flight. The players need to get themselves in shape to perform at their optimum and to do justice to the spectacle that they are part of, which is top flight football in a country in CARICOM that is a prominent country.
And they are a part of the spectacle. Of course, a lot of eyes on this final and has been on Red Stripe Premier League football over the past few seasons, that even if you're not too interested in the team that you're at, you're able to showcase your skills right now to the world. And if there is any pride at stake, it should be in not only your decorum, but in your professionalism.
Absolutely so, Donald.
You just saw Lamar Walker, the Costa Cup MVP, the Clarendon College standout, just receiving his championship medal.
He doesn't know how to lose, apparently. Not this year.
And how many players have done that? You've won a schoolboy championship. In the same year, you go on to be a part of a Premier League winning team. We need to do some research in that, gentlemen, because I'm suggesting to you that that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. Of course, he was a part of the setup last year as well when Portmore won. And didn't Clarendon win at schoolboy title the year before as well?
They won the Ben Francis Cup.
Yes, they would have won the Ben Francis Cup. They won the double on this occasion.
Right.
The Costa Cup.
Okay, so Lamar Walker last year followed up the Ben Francis success with Clarendon College with the Premier League title with Portmore. Comes back this year, another Premier League title with the Costa Cup to boot.
Well, I'm happy for the elucidation, but the point I'm making is that when I say he was champion this year, he won the Costa Cup. The Ben Francis Cup, with due respect, is a consolation prize. He won the big thing in school this year.
No, it is.
Well, it has always been the consolation prize. Make no mistake about that. He won the big trophy this year at school, and won the big trophy in the Premier League. A rare occurrence, no doubt. And Rousseau for St. George's College didn't win a big title this year, but a big schoolboy, now a champion at Premier League level.
Huge cheers just then for Javon East, whose 12 goals this season have gone a far way into making Portmore the Premier League champions again for the second year in a row and the 7th time in their history.
But gentlemen, I beg your pardon, Lance, we're going to have to talk next few days about security. And there's a popular member of the Portmore backroom staff, always helpful, always polite young man. The embodiment of Portmore United in many respects, gets his medal. We're going to have to talk in the next few days about security. I've said it. In the top European leagues, stewards sit in the stands, dividing fans, dividing rival fans, and dividing even same supporting team fans. They want to ensure, based on their placement and their deployment, that any disturbance is quelled, that it doesn't spread and have a ripple effect or a wave effect as we saw here inside the grandstand. That was not present tonight, and there are people who are not going to take the criticism well, but because of the inadequate security protocol in play, this occasion was marred, was spoiled by what happened in the stands, and it has to be spoken about and addressed in due course.
Yeah, the law enforcers at the time of the crowd trouble, George, appeared, and Donald, appeared to be caught off guard. It's almost as if they took some time to react, to respond, because it was almost as if they were not prepared for anything like that.
And you're going to hear in the next few days several persons with expertise balk at the suggestion that they weren't properly prepared because, yeah, we're experts. Well, where was the expertise on show tonight as the problem unfolded? That's the question I'm going to have in my top pocket for those who would wish to rebut the criticism that the security arrangement for an occasion such as this was woefully inadequate.
So Portmore about to lift the Red Stripe Premier League trophy.
Yeah, all of the mist of controversy and misdemeanor. Really have to remember the strike from Ricardo Morris that brought Portmore United to this moment, to this prize. They're about to lift that symbol, which will signal the fact that they are your 2019 champions in the Red Stripe Premier League.
And the crowd trouble we just spoke of was just the precursor to the tempers flaring on the field, and that fisticuff, the exchange of blows between Damian Williams Rafiq Thomas, one of the ugliest I've seen in local football in all my years.
Absolutely so, and it happened on the night of the final. Wow. Anyway, here you go, Lance. Poised to lift the trophy aloft. Portmore United, deserving champions, 18-19 Premier League season.
In their midst for the celebrations, Sports Minister Olivia Babsey-Grange and JFF President Mike Ricketts. A happy bunch there on stage. And Portmore are getting ready to enjoy the moment of the trophy lifting and a record-extending 7th hold on the Premier League title.
They do take very long with these presentations, though.
Yeah. With their win last year, they went ahead of Tivoli, Arnett and Santos, who they had shared 5 titles with as joint most successful teams in Premier League history. Their success last year putting them up to 6. And now the number is 7.
7 is real.
And now, ladies and gentlemen.
And given their structure and their depth, you have to think that they can make a good run at the championship for 2019-2020 as well.
Oh yes, everything suggests that this success will continue. And their next frontier is to conquer the CFU Club Championship, which they are in along with Waterhouse and 2 teams from Haiti, which will be played right here in Jamaica at the Stadium East Field, just meters away from this facility.
In mid-May. So the battle star Damian Williams in the center of the celebrations. A night for the champions. Well, he took a red card for his efforts. Damian Williams has been given more time with the trophy, or at least first hold on parading with a trophy.
But all I can say is it was potentially shaping up to be a very good night for football with what we saw earlier from the 3rd place playoff, marred at the end by a crowd disturbance. That negativity spilled over onto the field. There was angst about the referee's performance. There was nothing wrong with Odette Hamilton's performance and her assistance. And it's a pity that such a grand footballing occasion was spoilt by God knows what.
Unruly fans. So teams now will be looking on to design methods and strategies to try to stop Portmore in the coming years, because their squad is young, it's solid, a good mixture of youth and experience. Their organizational structure as good as they come as I've ever seen in domestic football in Jamaica, and they'll be a hard nut to crack.
And it's been so for a long time, Lance. I guess the great thing for Portmore is this. Apart from Mount Pleasant, there is no other Premier League team that can afford to buy away Portmore's best talent. Yeah? So if it was a middling team, a small team that had risen to this level, you could say that the established powers in the league would take away their best players, offer them lucrative contracts, and give them a kind of facilitation in the league that they wouldn't enjoy at their parent club. Not Portmore United. There's no club in the land that can turn these boys' heads and offer them any better, because Portmore is effectively where it's at if you want to progress in local football.
Well, that's pretty much a wrap on tonight's proceedings, and I tell you what, it's going to be remembered for a lot of reasons. But Portmore United, they are your champions of the 2018-2019 season. And just a quick recap, your thoughts on the season, despite the fact that it would have ended in degree of disappointment?
A degree, oh my goodness. No, I'm massively disappointed with how the night turned out. Congratulations to Portmore United. Well played to Waterhouse. But Jamaican football needs to have another long, hard look at itself, and then it needs to have a conversation about how to behave better.
Yeah, I'm shattered by what happened tonight for sure. The season was a solid season, and all credit to the way Portmore approached the season. Waterhouse also had a pretty solid season. Both of them had solid regular seasons, and I think both of them did not deserve to have an end to the season like we saw tonight.
Well, what else is there to say but to say goodbye from the National Stadium? We do hope that you enjoyed our coverage here on the home of champions. Portmore United, they are your 2018-2019 champions after getting the better of Waterhouse again, this time within the 90 minutes, so to speak, by a 1-0, courtesy of Ricardo Morris's strike. It's goodbye from all of us here.
Red stripes, Premier League. I miss one bag of gold medal pan me now. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing anthem. Red stripe, watch out. Man shall I get a forward boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal winner run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now. Pop down we run the marathon boy. The bush never made it the champion boy fan. Nah man I don't a songsters boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy.